bullpen too early, especially when the Padres end up losing the game. He doesn't have enough fire. His team doesn't care. We've heard all of these things. One thing we don't seem to hear about is when he has a right feel for a situation, and he decided yesterday that he'd rather have Julio Iglesias face a tough right-hander in Urseg of the Royals, who came out of the bullpen to face him, than go with Cronenworth against a left-hander, because they would have kept the lefty in to face Cronenworth.
Yep.
And Mike Schilt made the difficult decision to pull his all-star second baseman there in that spot, make Kansas City make a move, and Iglesias came through. I mean, look, that 2-out, 2-run hit, they're not winning that game without that. And, Mike Schilt does push the right buttons quite often, and I think it's nice to point out when he does, because all the rest of you out there point out when he doesn't.
Right. And so, it was a couple days ago in L.A., he did the same thing in like the fourth or fifth with Maldonado.
Right.
And it didn't work out. Iglesias ended up making it out. This time he comes through, and that's kind of what managing is all about. You're going to push the same button. Sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it's not going to work. And that's the way it goes. You hope that it works more often than it doesn't work. Because eventually you'll stop pushing that button if it doesn't work. But as long as the percentages are in the favor that you feel comfortable pushing it, that's what's going to keep happening. I've said this for a while now. I think Jose is in the perfect role right now, and anything more is probably too much. Anything less is probably not enough. I think he's right in the perfect spot. He's getting those spot starts. I think he's just much more productive in these pinch hit roles when he's not playing every day. It was a great call by Mike, and paid dividends, because the moment Iglesias came, he shouldered all the offense from that point on.
Right. Yeah, he drove in the winning run as well in the bottom of the ninth inning, and he also made a wonderful, beautiful relay throw home that pegged old Waters trying to score there in the top of the ninth inning.
What the heck was that?
Leading to a little dance-off between Waters and Elias
Diaz.
The
Oklahoma drill.
Well,
wait, real quick. I want to talk about that real quick.
Sure.
That you were talking about Mike, and kind of some of the critics. Those are the things that he teaches really well and that are super important to him, whether we're talking about base running, taking the extra base, or simple things that we think of as simple, but a simple cut and relay and the execution of that at cut and relay is something these dudes or this staff holds very high. And we've seen it executed on multiple times this year already, where it's been a big play at home. That might have been the biggest play of them all right there, is that cut and relay to nab my man down. And the dance-off was great at the end. Between was it Diaz and who else was it?
Diaz and Drew Waters. Here's the thing. I saw Greg Maddux trying to score back when pitchers ran the bases.
Oh, I remember.
I saw Greg Maddux try to score on the exact same play once, only he danced himself past the catcher and scored. So, Diaz had to hold his ground there to make sure that he was able to get the out. But, Iglesias made all the plays. The two moments in the game yesterday, well, I think there's three. First of all, Vasquez pitches another really good game and doesn't get anything to show for it in terms of a win or a loss. But he's won me over after the first 2 months of, sweating out every pitch he ever threw. Now this guy has been coming through time and time again. So let's say that. Secondly,
wait, real quick, before you go to number two, I want to comment on that too. It's another thing, right? To me, it's clear that there's been a plan of how they wanted to have Vasquez progress. And it seems like in this one, it was like he's reached the stage now and he's shown them enough where he's comfortable to be able to allow him to continue to go when he's throwing the ball that well. It was nice to see him get to 7 and really do his thing yesterday.
Yeah, really enjoyed that. But he wouldn't have made it to 7, I don't think, had, that lousy shortstop we have, Had he you know that guy. I don't know his name, but the
guy who had 8 straight.
Right, that guy. He went up the middle on a play and caught a ball in center field and whirled around and threw out Jonathan India to end the 7th inning. That was what got Vasquez through 7 innings, because I don't think Vasquez would have been allowed to face Bobby Witt Jr. for a 3rd time. And oh, by the way, that lousy shortstop we had also hit the double in the 9th inning that put the winning run into position. And, he also had 8 straight hits, which almost tied he did tie the club record, right? Nobody had ever done 9. So it's nice to see Xander finally get a little. He's not getting any love, I don't think.
He's definitely not getting
but
any
he's
love.
At least getting some things go. He's starting to, have a nice hot streak here, and I'm happy for him because nobody has been bad-mouthed more than him this year. So, but the other play that was made was, we talked about Iglesias. Jackson Merrill got to that ball, Tony, as fast and got rid of it as any center fielder could ever have done on that play. Yep. And that made it almost easy for Iglesias to just put the ball, on the money, and the guy was out by 5 feet. But Jackson, what a play that was. A lot of center fielders don't get that ball in nearly as quickly.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is the reason why I love cuts and relays, because it's such a team play. Like, it doesn't. Yes, Diaz did a great job picking that throw up from Iglesias. Iglesias made a great throw, but none of it matters if Jackson doesn't get to the ball.
That's right.
A, that fast, and B, get rid of it as that fast. So that's my favorite part about cut and relay, is it takes like multiple guys in order for it to be successful. When everybody does their job and it comes out right, it's exciting. And so, all of them played a part. But Jackson, if he doesn't get to that ball and doesn't get rid of it as fast, it's a moot point what everybody else does.
I have a question.
Yes, Peanut Gallery.
Peanut Gallery.
What you got?
That Jack Caglione catch of Jackson Merrill was incredible. So I know that Tony wasn't there yesterday, but I know you were there when Fernando made a similar catch. Which catch was better? You know what I'm talking about, Chris?
I'm trying to remember.
I just hope he didn't step on the wall like the Oakland or the Athletics guy did.
He did.
Because you took that one away from him.
I didn't do anything.
You did.
You
so.
always blame it on me.
I can't. You know what? It's hard. I don't. That's a tough question because I can't visually see Toddy's right now the way I can see
Jack Caglione's
from last night. I'm not even gonna lie. I was listening to it on the way home from Norco, my 3rd trip there this weekend, and Jesse and Skins calling it. And I wanted to believe that they were giving him too much credit. So I got home and I put on the replay.
Yeah.
And when Trey put it up on the TV and I got to see, I was like, oh, dang. Like, that was legit. Like, the timing. And he wasn't just like a little bit over the wall. His whole forearm was up above that bad boy.
He's 6'5". I think that helped a little bit.
Oh, okay. That makes a ton. Okay. I didn't know he was that big.
Let me just confirm that.
I'll tell you what, dude. He got to the wall, and the timing of that, regardless of how tall he is, was exceptional for a guy who has never played in the outfield.
Yeah, like, I guarantee 6'5", 250.
Yeah, well, I guarantee it. Jackson
he's 6'5", 250. He didn't move like that. I would have 100% maybe giving you the 6'5" part, but he didn't look like he was 250 the way he was moving to that wall.
I guarantee you, Jackson
Merrill
was
extremely impressive.
Jackson Merrill did not like the timing of that. He could have used that home run, but he had to. They had nothing left he could do. All right, you heard Tony talk about driving to Norco 13 times this weekend, but who drove more? Tony or I? We'll settle that issue when we come back. Also, we have a new NBA champion, and we have the Padres going back at it tonight against the Nationals. Stick around. Gwynn and Chris just underway.
2:18 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby. Padres begin a 3-game set against the Nationals. Some old faces back in town today.
Yes,
don't bring it up.
What did you call it, Tony? No, we can bring it up because it's
gotta
there.
bring it up. They're literally here.
How can the Nationals come to town without you thinking about it? But I also think people have the wrong narrative, to be honest with you. Yes, C.J. Abrams. James Wood is incredible right now. Gore has been really good, although he's only won 3 games because he's on a lousy team. So they got the, what did you call it, Tony? The Padres starter kit that we gave them?
No, the stimulus package.
Stimulus package.
Padres stimulus.
Yeah, there you go. The Padres stimulus package. They got that. But, it's one of those sliding doors things. Remember that movie where if one thing doesn't happen, the whole world goes in a different direction?
The butterfly effect.
Right. So,
Correct.
The Padres ended up trading Soto after that. And, we have Michael King and we have Dylan Cease and we have a team that's, hopefully going to the playoffs, and they don't. So, this whole notion that, well, we gave these 3 guys away. I don't think that's putting it in the proper context. Do you?
No, absolutely not.
Right?
Listen,
but that's what people will have you believe, right? They'll say,
James
well, we just
Wood.
gave these guys away. There's a story in the paper today that say the Padres could use James Wood in left field, but they don't have him anymore. Well, yes, they also wouldn't have the same team that they have now.
Right. No, they could definitely use a James Wood in left field, but James Wood wouldn't be able to make the growing pains that he was allowed to make over the last couple of seasons on a playoff contending team. Like they just wouldn't have been able to do it. Mackenzie Gore's another one. I mean, I think him and CJ were obviously in the big leagues and closer to that, but at the time when they were traded, they couldn't be contributing members to a team that was going to end up going to the NLCS. I remind you of that because that was all that year.
Yeah.
Right. And it didn't end up working out. And listen, again, we lost our owner in Peter Seidler. Who knows how the Soto thing would have gone had he been around at that point. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, it's fun to look at the young men who are playing really well for the Nationals right now and be like, oh, yeah, man, we could be using these guys right now. But remember, the joy you got to experience with all the rain coming down against the Dodgers in the playoffs. You remember that? You wouldn't have been able to experience that. You remember
probably wouldn't have happened.
You would remember going into New York and taking that series. Wouldn't have been able to experience that. And then it came, to an abrupt end in Game 6 of the NLCS. But you were literally 2 wins away from going to a World Series. You wouldn't have been able to experience that. And it's a chance that you wouldn't have gotten to the playoffs in 24. And experiencing that way. So. Listen,
doesn't matter, Tony. We could use a new shortstop right now for sure, and we definitely need a left fielder. So, whatever happened in the past is done with and over. This trade
we're talking
stinks
about
now. Yeah, right. We're only talking about now, especially if James Wood, God forbid, hits a home run or something tonight. So,
I don't like to see anybody not do well. But man. We're gonna have to talk about it every day if those guys have series this next 3 for sure.
Yeah. So all right. Well, it's a look. We'll see what happens.
Still waiting on the lineup, by the way. Haven't got that yet.
The Padres have been very good this year against teams with losing records. Hopefully they'll keep that up. I believe they are 24-7 after taking 2 or 3 from the Royals, who do currently have a losing record. So Padres have, taken advantage of the teams that they're supposed to beat. And obviously, it'd be nice to be able to do that again this week here before you go out on the road. You're only 5 games back. That's only still, you're within distance there. The Giants are in between. These are important games.
5 games is nothing. We've seen the Giants do that, close that up twice now.
I don't know, Tony. John Kruk told us that you can't make up 5 games over a 90-game span. So,
maybe not.
Yeah. But, they're all big games now. But, I do remind everybody, I was thinking of this today, Tony. When they play Saturday, where are they going this week? Where do they go? Philadelphia
Cincinnati,
first? Okay, Cincy
Philly.
first. All right, so Cincinnati, when they take the field actually Friday night in Cincinnati, that will be the 81st game of the season. That will be the halfway mark. Doesn't it seem like a lot of stuff has happened and we're not even halfway through yet?
It does seem like a lot of stuff has happened and we're not halfway through the season yet.
Yeah.
That is kind of baseball, right? There's going to be so much. And the trick is not to get overly emotional about all those things that happen before we're even halfway through. I know it's a tough trick.
Scraby's got that. Scraby's got that mastered. I'm still working on it.
I'm way better than I used to be. I was ready to throw in the towel.
You had
after
nowhere
a
to go but up.
Streak.
You had nowhere to go but up.
I know. I'm glad I landed with you two because I would have had a much different baseball view if I didn't.
But judging by some of the letters that we're going to have to address in the Padres Pen Pals a little later on, you may have improved.
Yeah.
But a lot of the listeners are not quite there yet.
No, they're evolving. You got to give them space to get there.
I wanted to say real quick, one person who is improving is Gavin Sheets in left field. He's been pretty good as of late.
I'm so glad you brought it.
Yeah, I'll take a bath on that one, but it can change with one, crazy run into the wall. So. Yeah, I think
maybe that's just like the part of the plan.
Maybe I don't know.
What is the word that fits this? The amount of hand wringing, maybe, of Sheets playing left field. I'm just saying it was a little bit. I understand my man ran into a wall. You know who else ran into a wall like that? Hunter Pence. Nobody tucked to move him out of the outfield.
Totally forgot.
He ran smack dab into a wall like that. Probably even harder because he was concussed when he came out the game. I was there to see it. So I'm just saying, he just needed get his feet wet out there. He's been fine. I don't ever think he's going to be like a Gold Glover out there, but he certainly has found a way to make the easy outs.
Who's the outfield coach? Macias, is it not, Tony?
Macias handles the outfield.
Give him a lot of credit, right, for working with a guy that is not, naturally in that position. And from what I read today anyway, at least telling Gavin to just not knock down any walls, make the plays you can make. Right. And, if the ball's over your head, it's going to hit the wall, play it off the wall and live to fight another day.
Good advice.
And, but that's coaching. These are the things that we don't see behind the scenes, but it makes a big difference.
It seems like an easy thing to think about, but when you're being asked to play a position that you don't play, you don't want to let your teammates down. So you are out there trying to make every play and being told by your outfield coach, hey, just make the plays that you need to make. Balls over your head is over your head. Play it off the wall. You don't need to go get it. That is kind of the kind of information, type of coaching you need when you've never done something before, because it gives you a little comfort in knowing, okay, I'm not expected to get to every ball out here.
Yeah.
But, I can still help my ball club out by just going out here and making the plays I'm supposed to.
One thing that we saw yesterday, and we haven't touched on, we have a little time in the next segment, and we will kick around the OKC Thunder. Congrats.
And we got to pay off on the driving in the next segment.
And, yes, we got to tell them about the driving this weekend, because Tony and I were like two crazy drivers this weekend, and our worlds nearly collided. So we will tell you.
I knew I felt a chill in the air.
Yes, right. About late afternoon yesterday, but we'll tell you about that. But one thing I also want to ask you was the lineup change yesterday. That was kind of a big deal. It didn't factor into the game a whole lot, but Jackson Merrill batting second, Arise batting fourth. Mike Schilt said it was something he'd actually thought about before Merrill had the concussion game. So we'll talk about that dynamic as well, Tony. We have a lot of good stuff to hit on coming up.
You heard it. We got a lot of stuff to get to. More on Gwynn and Chris right around the corner.
music. All right, welcome back. 2:34 is the time. Before we get into this segment, Chris Ello here, Tony Gwynn Jr. at Petco Park, where yesterday in the press box, once again, the Padres PR staff did a wonderful thing. They left a bouquet of flowers in honor of our friend Scott Miller, who passed away over the weekend. Tony, I don't like doing these things. I don't have much left in me to keep talking about these kinds of sad stories that have been popping up here recently. Bryce Miller, we lost. A good friend of your dad's and mine, Kenny Davis, cancer as well. And Scott Miller, who was just on the program no more than a month ago. And I bought his book, and I've been enjoying it, the book about why managers matter. And this young man passes away over the weekend. And I honestly, I haven't been able to really couch this very well. Trying not to think about it because I don't have any, I don't have anything to satisfy me. And, the way I'm trying to figure this stuff out. I mean, this guy and I grew up together in the writing business at the LA Times here in San Diego. And he's gone on to do his things. And I've been lucky enough to do my things, and just shouldn't end like that for anybody. And it's so tough when it's somebody we know.
Yeah, man, I've been really struggling with the right words for this one. I mean, obviously, for us who've gotten to know Scott, I mean, Scott was a pretty frequent guest on our show for a very long time. Actually, really until he got sick. We had him on quite frequently, and it's just tough to be around people and get to know people like Scott. And one day they're here, the next day they're gone. I mean, I know it's a fact of life, but it doesn't make it any easier to find the words. For something like this. It's hard.
It really is. I mean, I got to celebrate my birthday over the weekend. Scott Miller, about the same age, a little different. And that's just, sometimes you can't even figure out why the world works that way, but it does. And Scraby told me, he said, you got to appreciate what I have. And believe me, I do, but it still doesn't make up for this. This is really tough. And, there's been a lot of outpouring of support throughout baseball because he was a national figure in the game of baseball as a writer. And,
I did enjoy.
He was just like a fabulous man to be around. I mean, he was, even when he was going through treatment and he lost all of his hair, he was still, when he was around, man, it was still Scott, man, positive, on the upbeat, and these type of things are never fun to go through. And I mean, listen, having lost a parent to this particular disease, it's just a reminder. It really is.
Jay Posner, the ex-sports editor, the Union Tribune, had a very nice tribute, as a lot of people did online this weekend to Scott. But at the end of his tribute, he said, and by the way, cancer sucks, and so does doing anything to stop people who are trying to fix it. Now, if you want to take that as a political statement, I can't help it, but you've got to agree with it.
Yeah.
Cancer has got to be something we focus on to try and stop, because there's way too many results like this in our lives, in your lives, and in everybody else's lives. Touches us endlessly.
I enjoyed seeing all of the national writers take time out of their day to mention Scott Miller. That's actually how I learned about it. I was on Twitter and I saw Bob Nightingale post something. I was like, this can't be the same guy.
Yeah.
Clicked on it. Yeah, it was his Twitter account. And like you said, we had him on less than a month ago. I mean, he never, indicated one way or the other that he wasn't feeling good. He just said, yeah, what time do you need me? And I'm really happy that he got his book done.
His book done. Yeah, he was working his tail off on that.
Yeah, so everybody go and buy his book. Chris?
don't just buy it to buy it. Buy it because it's good.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
really is good.
What's it called again?
It's Skippers, and it's about why baseball managers matter. One last thing on Scott Miller, because this is what I've been thinking about all weekend. He and I stood out in the outfield one Sunday afternoon. I'm going to say, well, before I met and really started dating my wife, who's now been my wife for 35 years, he and I stood out there in left field at Oceanside High School one day on a Saturday. He said, "What are you doing tonight?" And I said, "Got this new girl I'm going out with and trying to, hope it goes well." And I was all nervous, and he gave me a little pat on the back and said, "Best of luck to you."
Wow.
So he's been there a long time for me, and I miss Scott Miller really, really much. And to his wife, Kim, and his daughter, Gretchen, all the strength that you can muster. So if you are the type to throw some prayers their way. Okay. Now let's talk about stuff that doesn't matter, but runs our lives.
But Scott Miller would love to be
he would
talking.
Probably enjoy this story.
He would love to talk about lineup changes and driving through Norco and all that stuff.
Well, here's Tony. You got to hear this because you're not going to believe it, because Loriello as well as the rest of us. We were going to fly to Vegas this weekend to celebrate my birthday. We're going to leave Saturday morning, fly back last night. Quick trip, in, out, stay over one night, go to concert, come home. And we go to look at our plane tickets the day before the flight, and somehow we transposed the flights. And instead of flying from San Diego to Las Vegas, we had a reservation to fly from Las Vegas to San Diego.
Wait, real quick before you go on, did you make these reservations?
That's the first thing
This is the whole critical part of this, Tony, is did I do it? Did Lori do it? She says we both did it.
Oh, God.
So,
who actually clicked okay?
Wait,
we were both
that is cold.
Right.
That's cold talk. I know what that means, Chris.
I do too.
That means that Lori messed up, but she doesn't want to take it by herself. Chris just threw his hands up in the air. Look.
I didn't say that. But as Scraby said, this is almost impossible for Lori, who's so on top of this stuff.
I was genuinely shocked at this.
Right. Okay, wait. Before we move on, let's all visualize two people with their hands on the mouse at the same time.
Two.
Las Vegas to San Diego. Good. Where do we pay? Anyway, so because of this, we had to end up driving, and the drive to Las Vegas, awesome. Got up early Saturday morning, 4 hours, 10 minutes maybe. We're there, great ride, and enjoyed it. The drive home is horrible.
Oh,
the Sunday drive home from Las Vegas is horrible. I feel for anybody that ever has to do it. I'll never do it again, I hope. Because what happens is it's the same traffic from Vegas to LA as it is from Vegas to San Diego. So you're just stuck waiting for the two to finally separate.
And then on Sundays, you got all the people that are half dead trying to get home too. So
it was not good.
It was not good.
It took us almost 7 hours to get home. So that's the comparison. But we did drive by.
What time did you guys leave?
2:00, which probably not great. Too
late.
Yeah, too late. So anyway, we were miserable, but we did drive by. We came to the city limits of Norco, California, and my first thought was Norco. Tony goes to Norco all the time to see his daughters play soccer, and just as I said that out loud, the soccer fields are adjacent to the 15 freeway.
Yes, they are.
And I'm driving by and I see, I don't know how many thousand kids playing soccer at one time on one of the biggest fields I've ever seen. And I thought to myself, oh man, my guy, Tony, he's in the midst of this all the time. What I didn't know is that he had been there yesterday.
Yes.
In the midst of it himself.
I was there on Friday, Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then a shorty yesterday. Yeah, man, it was pretty extreme. But see, if you would have said, "Hey, Tony, I'm driving by," I could have waved.
Yes,
you might have been able to pick me out.
Very doubtful, Tony. There's 20,000 people on this field. There's 30 games going on at one time. I have never quite seen anything like it. But having seen it now, Tony, you gain all kinds of credibility in my mind as a soccer dad for going to Norco over and over. And Tony pointed out to us that the Norco people who run this field charge $15 per car to park there. So they must.
That's if you have a car. If you got an RV, it'll run you about 20.
Wow. I mean, that's got to be a ton of money.
I need to get it. I told the guys before the show, I need to buy some land and make a parking lot.
Make a big old parking lot.
Just like, hey, $50 to park here. Everybody, I don't know what I need to park here for, but I'll pay the $50.
I couldn't believe that they did that.
For real.
Yeah. Anyway, so if anybody's soccer dads have ever driven a Norco, Tony feels you, but I feel you as well. All right. We got tonight's lineup out?
We do.
Yes, we do.
All right. Is it the same deal?
For the most part, yeah.
Jackson Merrill and Luis Arise.
So then we can go into the conversation.
You won't have your super sub at your disposal today.
Okay. He's in
Jose
the lineup.
Iglesias is in the lineup.
All right.
So we got a Tatis Jr. We got a Merrill.
Mm-hmm.
We got a Machado and an Arise.
Right.
A Bogarts, a Sheets, an Iglesias, a Cronenworth in the 8th spot, and Diaz in the 9th spot.
All right.
Crony at first tonight.
Crony's at first today.
Arise is the DH today.
Yes, he is.
So
he
they
gets
moved
the
things
DH
around
card.
a little bit. All right, Tony. So what do you think of this Merrill and Arise switch, which tonight will happen again for the second game?
I saw it yesterday before the game, and I texted my partner. I was like, kind of like it.
Okay.
Kind of like the idea of the change up. I don't know that it's here to stay, but I like the idea of giving it a little bit different look. You may find out in 2 weeks that it wasn't worth it. You may find out after a couple games it wasn't worth it. But I like the idea of trying to change it up a little bit, considering that they haven't been scoring runs at the rate that we had grown accustomed.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This is how much baseball's changed in my mind. There is no way, no matter how much a team was struggling, 10 years ago, 15 for sure, that a team would bat Luis Arise in the cleanup spot. It just was not done. Your number 4 hitter had to be a, quote, power threat. But that's just not baseball anymore, is it, Tony? I mean, Arise has 3 home runs. He's not a power threat, but he is capable of driving in runs with singles and doubles. And we're seeing this now. Back in the day, Fernando would have never let off. Back in the day, Chris Bryant would have never let off. Back in the day, Kyle Schwarber would have never let off. It's Shohei would have never let off. So It's just a different world now, and I think this just underscores it to see this, the way the lineup's constructed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the leadoff guy is not what we used to think of it.
Right.
And so if you're playing your best players, your best hitters, 2 and 3, that means you got to slide other guys in there. And that seems to be the 2 most important spots now, it seems like, in the lineup. Who's batting second, who's batting third. In some cases, you go the extreme of batting your best guy 1, as we see what the Dodgers do. Not everybody does that, but the Dodgers are one of the teams that do. And so, yeah, I think this is not something you would have seen as late as 5-6 years ago. I don't know that you would have seen this, but here we are now. And listen, as I said, I like the change up for the Pods for sure.
Well, let's see if it gives a little kickstart. It would be nice to win a few games. Well, we got the 3-run homer that I was kidding about earlier to win 5-1 Saturday. But, and then the Royals got the 3-run homer the night before. I'm just pointing out, even though there's no way to categorize these things, they are very helpful if you can get some. And I think the Padres, hopefully will get on a little bit of a 3-run homer binge here. But, you've got to it'd be nice to win some 7-2 games. Give some of these pitchers a little breathing room out there. So, starts tonight. All right, OKC wins the title. It was preordained to me, Tony, as soon as I saw Halliburton go down in the first quarter.
It was a wrap after he went down.
It was a wrap. And that's not fair to Oklahoma City in a lot of ways, because some people might say, well, it's a little tainted.
Nah.
To be honest, it's not tainted. They won 84 games this year. It's the third most in NBA history for one season. So they deserved it. They were the best team. I think they were the better team throughout even this finals, with or without Halliburton. But I also think that, what we said still rings true, Tony. Oklahoma City may go on to greatness, may win 4 or 5 championships. Some people are predicting that. But those who said they're an all-time team, I think at this point we're still jumping the gun.
Yeah, no, they're not an all-time team. There's nothing that can happen now that's going to convince me that they're an all-time team.
Yeah, right.
They definitely were the best team this year from start to finish, and that's an achievement in itself because that's not always the case. But, yeah, no, I don't know that they don't, to me, belong in the all-time great teams conversation. But what they did was very impressive, especially for a young team. I mean, they had experience because they got to the postseason last year. But to have that just a 1 year of basically of playoff experience as a group and then turn that into a world championship the following year, I think that's extremely impressive. I really do.
They were tested in a couple of 7-game series, and they wwere able to pass with flying colors. So
SGA, when it mattered, you can say what you want about the foul merchant thing, but my man, when it got to the fourth quarter, in 2 games that they Game 7,
Game 4 was the one. That was the one. Yeah,
he was the one that looked like an MVP.
He saved them in Game 4. They were that close to going down, 3-1, and he made the plays. So I give him that credit. But I just want to say it one last time, then I'll disappear till, November. How he got through 7 games without getting called for one push-off is going to drive me crazy for a while. Not one.
They started talking about it a lot more.
Of course they did, because we can all see it. I wasn't the only one.
I mean, if they're not going to call traveling, then why not call push-off?
Well, they try. Here's the thing. They don't call traveling, but every now and again they call traveling. And that's what I mean. You don't have to call him for the push-off all the time. I needed one. I had to have one, and I never got it. I was disappointed.
You're going to get I fully guarantee next year he is going to be taxed on that call all season long. And then the debate will be, why is he getting called for it now? He wasn't getting called for it in the close all last year.
100%.
I'm not going to debate it. I will not debate it next year. I will say it's about time, and I will say that it came too late.
So you mean that we should just vacate the Thunder title because
vacate the title because he pushed off? Yeah, and we're gonna have to vacate all of the Bulls championships because of all the calls Jordan got, and the Lakers and every other team that's got great players that the losing teams feel like got calls. So that's just the way it is. It was a shame because I think the game would have been. OKC probably would have won. But I think it would have really been a much better game if Halliburton had stayed in there. Because he was on a roll at the beginning, and it was.
There's no question.
Yeah, it could have been a classic Game 7 had he stayed in there.
It also is a reminder of how much they taxed themselves during this time of year. He clearly was – that calf injury he had was a precursor
it was just
to what ended up happening to him down the stretch there where he, hopefully, God forbid, he tore his Achilles. But
he did, yeah. He tore it, so we'll see.
It's confirmed?
It is, yeah. It was confirmed today. Man, yeah, it's torn. So
that's tough.
Yeah,
that's all of next season, basically.
I know.
Him and Celtics guy, Jason Tatum.
Oh, that's right.
Tatum too.
Yeah, so they're both facing.
And one more NBA news: Kevin Durant got what he wanted again, traded to the Rockets.
Listen. In this occasion, I'm not blaming KD. KD wasn't the one that wanted out of Phoenix. Phoenix wanted to get rid of KD because they knew the financial straits they were about to be under. And so in terms of he does get to go to a team that he chose, but this time around, he wasn't actually pushing to leave until they wanted him to leave.
I think Durant being traded is, obviously big for Houston. We'll see if he can still be this good next year, but there's no reason, I guess, not to believe it. He did it all this year.
He's getting up there in age, isn't he?
He is, but I mean, he was great
He
was great this year.
Yeah,
but I also think that the one guy that you didn't want Houston to have to trade was Jalen Green, and they did. So he goes to Phoenix, and he's pretty good, young guy.
I think he's going to be great with a younger old veteran like Booker. I think their games kind of have some similarities to it, especially when they were younger. I think Booker will be able to maybe relate to him a little bit more.
We'll see how that works. All right. Gwynn and Chris coming back. Hour number 2. Monday edition, Gwynn and Chris, 97.3, The Fan. Chris, hello. Tony Gwynn Jr. down at Petco Park. He'll be back with us in a little bit. We got a Padres Pen Pals coming out at the bottom of the hour. And I have checked some of the questions. And never mind the Padres taking 2 out of 3 over the Royals. The fans are not happy with a lot of stuff that's going on. We'll get into that and try to answer some of their complaints at the bottom of the hour. So stick around for that. Tony will rejoin us for that. We do have a little bit of a daily gambit coming on. And are we doing 30 mile zone today? Am I looking at the wrong sheet?
Oh, no. I printed out.
You have a combined sheet, don't you?
No, what happened was sometimes, because I have a blank thing where I just create new dates off of. I have a template, and sometimes I fill out the template instead of the actual one, and then I forget to delete things.
So we're not doing the
30 mile zone, which reminds me I need to go take care of that right now.
But we do have Padres Pen Pals at the bottom of the hour, Big 5 in the 4 o'clock hour. All right, so we'll keep you up to date with what's going on. Sam Levitt's Eco Water, Padres Eco Water, SoCal Padres pregame show. I shouldn't have done that without looking, but you get the idea.
Family Loves Eco Water Padres SoCal pregame show.
That is coming up at 5:40. I did run into Sam Levitt this morning. Evidently, the fine folks at the local television stations, KUSI and Fox, I think they're both in the same building now. Did you know this? They've combined forces.
Yes, I was on TV last week.
KUSI, yes, okay, and Fox. Well, they booked Sam on Fox and me on KUSI pretty much at the same time this morning.
Oh my goodness! Did you guys see each other in the hallway and just stare?
No, we did. We said hello, and I imagine more people watched me because Anyway,
there's a very unique.
The other thing that was funny, Sam had a nice sport coat on and looked sharp. I, of course, had my golf shirt, and that was good for me, but I wasn't at the same level of dress as the great Sam Levitt.
Oh, Sam's always dressed up.
Yeah, he's always dressed to the nines. Anyway, so that was this morning, and here we are now getting ready for the Daily Gambit because a lot happened over the weekend. We got some games to look ahead to tonight.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly.
We'll try.
Yes, we'll try.
I was in Las Vegas this weekend. I gambled quite responsibly because I didn't gamble at all.
See what?
Yeah.
If you're gonna go to Las Vegas, you gotta at least throw a couple bucks into a slot machine.
Well, why don't I just give it to the casino straight away?
What if that spin was it?
Was the one?
Yeah,
it wasn't. I also saw the very first beginnings of the new Las Vegas A's baseball stadium, starting to just scratch the surface there. It's a big, huge mess of dirt. Mostly now, but it's starting. It's got a few years to go.
I read an article about, I love these articles though, about the A's and how people hate them. And Sacramentans are now trying to turn their back on the A's because the A's hate Sacramento so much. Everything the A's do is just a mess. Just seems like. Anyway, you should have put at least $1 into the slot machine. You would have won lots of money.
You know what? I didn't, so I can now give that $1 straight to you if you'd like it, instead of giving it to the people in Vegas who don't need it.
Okay. Last week, we had a lot of bets, actually. The first one, Royals at the Padres on Friday night, over under 7.5 runs. You went over, I went under. It was 6-5, so they had 11. Nationals were playing the Dodgers on Friday night, -1, and Dodgers were -1.5 on the run line. We both chose Nationals. And we won because the Dodgers only won 6-5. So,
Yay.
Yay.
How about Max Muncy yesterday? Jeez.
What happened?
He had a grand slam and a 3-run homer. I mean, he had
Oh,
almost
I didn't see that.
he had almost more than 3-run homers in 2 innings than the Padres have all year.
Wow, I did not see that.
Yeah,
That's
Ohtani
crazy.
had 5 RBIs yesterday and also pitched an inning,
Yes, he did.
to which ESPN gave like 45 minutes of coverage.
He did strike out 2 this time.
So what? Big deal.
Who had more strikeouts, Gore -1 or Kershaw on Friday night? You said Kershaw, I said Gore. They both had 4, but the -1 makes
Clayton
Kershaw the
getting her
winner.
done. He's 3-0.
He went 5 innings too, I think, that game.
Getting
Red Sox at the Giants. Devers hits plus runs plus RBIs. How many did he have? Is he over, under, what was it, 1.5?
He had 0 in that.
We both
game.
went over. Yeah, he went over 5 with
But
a
he did hit a
strikeout.
home run in the series. the Giants.
Then the actual game itself, Giants -1.5 on Friday night. You chose the Red Sox. I chose the Giants. The Sox won 7-5.
Okay.
Asia Wilson, who had more points? Asia Wilson or Skylar Diggins? Asia Wilson -6, I should say. You chose Asia Wilson. I chose Skylar Diggins. Diggins had it outright, 24 points. Asia Wilson had 20, minus that 6, 14. College World Series, which we'll talk a little bit about in the Big Five. LSU -1.5 on Saturday over Coastal Carolina. You went Coastal Carolina. I went LSU. Coastal Carolina lost, but LSU won the game. Coastal Carolina lost, but they also won the bet because LSU won 1-0. I don't know why I made that so hard.
You did. LSU also won yesterday, 5-3. So congrats to the LSU Bayou Bengals. They win the College World Series for the second time in 3 years.
Okay.
Which I, get tired of LSU and
Me too.
everybody in the SEC pretty much winning everything.
Last thing, Pacers at OKC Friday, -7.5 OKC was on the spread. We both chose Pacers. We were right, 108.91. Now, before we get into our bets today, tune into the Manager's Report with Mike Schilt this Friday at 9 a.m. on Ben and Woods. Manager's Report is refreshed by EcoWater SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925.
Real quick. Do we boo C.J. Abrams or James Wood tonight? It wasn't their fault that the Padres traded them.
No, I don't think we boo him.
Okay.
Definitely not James Wood. He never stepped foot into a major league uniform. And C.J. Abrams was just kind of a part of the package.
All right.
Mackenzie Gore, though.
You're going to boo him?
He threw at Profar last year.
There you go. Don't forget it. All right. Padres Nats a little later. Speaking of that game, first up on our list, I went 13-15 last week, which is not great, but it's much better than your 5-15.
Yeah,
you were very poor last week. So let's see if we can turn it around.
Let's hope.
Padres Nationals, 8.5 runs tonight. Mitchell Parker, the lefty for the Nats. Stephen Kolek for the Friars. I'm sorry. Until further notice, under is the way to go in a Padre game. I mean, it can go over, but it's just not likely.
I mean, Stephen Kolek's kept runs off the board.
And the Padres just don't score that many. I mean,
they scored 5 on Friday. They scored, 3 yesterday? They scored 5 on Saturday?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't
Tony
go
said
over.
Look, Tony said it earlier. Thank goodness the Royal manager was stupid enough to take Lugo out yesterday. Guy's pitching a 2-hit shutout, and you're coming, let's go. That's it.
I'm
like, what?
I was in the car at that
doing?
point in time. Bob Scanlon was bringing up that Lugo has a big problem with giving up home runs third time through, and he has a finger problem.
Don't care. Again, have a feel for the game. You say this all the time.
I do. I'm just saying.
The guy was absolutely unhittable yesterday.
He was pretty good.
And they took him out, and the Padres won. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who are you picking, by the way? 8.5 runs. Under also. Cubs and Cardinals meet tonight. I think this is the first time they've played this year.
Really?
Maybe they played last week, but I know recently they hadn't played yet. And this is a big rivalry again, much like Dodgers, Padres, and all these other rivalries that don't play anymore. Cubs are favored by 1.5 tonight on the road. Who do you like in this one?
Sorry, I was reading something else.
Well, Cubs -1.5 at St. Louis.
I don't know. Rivalry game. Cardinals have been playing okay.
Rivalry game. Yeah, they
isn't that what the rival is?
It is a rivalry game. Yes, this is the first meeting of the year between the Cubs and Cardinals. It took till June 23rd for it.
Going Cardinals.
You're going Cardinals. Cubs
Cardinals.
have been struggling a bit. You know, the Brewers are back within 3.5 of the lead in the Central, but I'll take the Cubs in this one. Stephen Kolek, Mitchell Parker, 3.5 strikeouts for both guys. So the question is, who gets more strikeouts? It better be Kolek. What do you think? Who gets more strikeouts?
I'll say Kolek too.
Kolek. And we only have one more because there's just not a lot tonight. There's no weather. There's no NBA, obviously. There's no NHL. There's no WNBA. There's pretty much baseball. Aaron Judge at Cincinnati, 2.5 is the total. Hits, runs, and RBIs. Now, I bring up Aaron Judge for a couple of reasons. Number one, his batting average is nowhere near 400 anymore. So we should have stopped talking about that a while ago. But secondly, is Aaron Judge slam dunk for the AL MVP right now? I think on the surface you'd say, oh, yeah, of course.
Who else would it be?
And I would say, what about Cal Raleigh, who is going crazy right now for Seattle? He's up to 31 homers.
See, my reaction is why Cal Raleigh is not going to win MVP, because no one's talking about it when they absolutely should be talking about it.
He keeps going. They're going to have to talk about it. Like he's going to force them. He's doing things that no other catcher or switch hitter has ever done in the history of the game. So anyway, the bet here is Aaron Judge, 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs at Cincinnati.
The Hitters Park, I'm going to go over.
I'm going to go over too. All he has to do is pop one over that short wall there, and he's over.
He's on his way.
All right, so only 4 picks tonight for us. Scrape. Got a couple of things to update. The baseball all-star voting is out or updated anyway. Padres, not doing too well. I must be honest. We'll let you know where things stand when Gwynn and Chris continues. We'll also check a little traffic in here.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
I think first you can have that belief when you put the kind of work in that you do, that your body's going to heal right, and just trusting it. You talked about being an extension of the coaching staff. I would guess that's going to be even more so this year with you not being able to actually do the physical part.
Yeah.
Is there something that you've tried to do this offseason to kind of get you into that mode in terms of being that extension? Because the reality is, although your arm might be useless in 25 this year, your mind's not going to be. And there's still a lot of guys, especially the ones who may be vying for your spot in the rotation, that could lean on you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's my job to help prepare these guys the best I can. And like guys like Waldron, guys like Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, those are guys that are, have really good stuff and are not far away from, being, middle of the rotation to top half, starting pitchers.
Yeah.
So trying to share some things. And that's something we talk about all the time in the clubhouse is like, you bring something to the table on the field, every day. That's kind of what brings you here and gets you to this level. But, days that you're not playing as a starting pitcher, that's, a majority of our days. You pitch once every 5 days. So making sure you bring something to the table is, something we always talk about. So even though, like you said, I'm not going to be physically on the field pitching, I got to find a way to contribute. And a lot of that's just been, better communication with the staff. And I'm really excited this year to be able to sit in more of the coaches' meetings and see how they game plan and how they, come about their approach to certain teams. And I feel like when I come back in 26, I'm going to have a whole plethora of knowledge and things that I hadn't experienced before to add into my game. So.
I just have to say this. I play with a lot of guys, and not all of them are going to take as serious as Joe is taking this part serious, which is getting into those coaches' meetings. Coaches are here a lot earlier than the players,
Are they, man?
especially during spring training. So the fact that he's going to be willing to do that, I think that's awesome, man. That's what separates you from a lot of these other guys out there.
We're talking to Joe Musgrove here, Padres pitcher, 97.3 The Fan. And I have to ask from the fan perspective, because Tony every day on the show, whenever a team in the National League West signs a new big-name player, all of us fans are kind of like, why? And Tony says it doesn't matter. They still have to go out and play the games. When you see that happen, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different perspective as a player. Our job is, our goal doesn't change regardless of whether we add, and that stuff's, out of our control. So you never want to sit here going into an off season saying, we're going to be fired up if we get this guy and this guy, and not if we don't get this guy. So you look at our team, and a lot of people see all the moves being made and don't see us making moves, and it seems like a mismatch in the division. All these other teams are adding, but you look at our roster, I mean, we spent a lot of money over the last handful of years and committed a lot of guys to be here long term, and the value in having those guys return every year and continue to build that relationship and that growth is every bit as valuable as adding a new free agent. So
Love that.
I think with the progress we made last year, and you guys will never understand how we feel. I'm sure you can see a little bit of it on the field and how we carry ourselves and, the camaraderie and stuff, but you'll never truly understand just how close that group got last year. And although we didn't, achieve the ultimate goal of winning the World Series, we grew a ton as a team. We grew a ton as, a unit. And I'm super excited that we got most of these guys coming back. We got the whole staff coming back, and we can kind of pick up where we left off.
Well, last one for me, because you kind of just hit on it, and I think it's so important. The continuity, right? This is, what, year maybe 3, 4 of this nucleus being together. How much of an impact can that have on a team, having guys who have been in the locker room together for so long?
Yeah, a ton. And, Schulte's big thing is shared experiences. We got guys from all over the league, some guys that are new and have experienced things that most rookies don't, and some guys that have been around 10 plus years that have, been in championship locker rooms and been around the best of the best. So sharing those experiences with each other and helping each other grow along the way, not just, providing, assistance and, coaching, but like sharing experiences and helping guys grow a little bit through, what you've been through is a big thing for us.
Joe Musgrove, ladies and gentlemen, this is a good one we got here, man. Joe, appreciate you, brother.
Thanks so much, Joe.
Pleasure, man.
Quick healings, and enjoy the rest of your day,
sir.
man.
You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
I mean, I think first you can have that belief when you put the kind of work in that you do, that your body's going to heal right, and just trusting it. You talked about being an extension of the coaching staff. I would guess that that's going to be even more so this year with you not being able to actually do the physical part.
Yeah.
Is there something that you've tried to do this offseason to kind of get you into that mode in terms of being that extension? Because the reality is, although your arm might be useless in 25 this year, your mind's not going to be. And there's still a lot of guys, especially the ones who may be vying for your spot in the rotation, that could lean on you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's my job to help prepare these guys the best I can. And like guys like Waldron, guys like Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, those are guys that are, have really good stuff and are not far away from, being, middle of the rotation to top half, starting pitchers.
Yeah.
So trying to share some things. That's something we talk about all the time in the clubhouse is like, you bring something to the table on the field, every day. That's kind of what brings you here and gets you to this level. But, days that you're not playing as a starting pitcher, that's, a majority of our days. You pitch once every 5 days. So making sure you bring something to the table is, something we always talk about. So even though, like you said, I'm not going to be physically on the field pitching, I got to find a way to contribute.
All right, 3:18. We welcome you back to the program. I guess in some ways, Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., by the way, down at Petco. He'll join us here in about 10 as we'll get into the Padres Pen Pals. I get, in some ways, the Padres record. Let's just break this down for a second, Scrape. They're 42-35, okay? There's a few different ways to look at this record. I think you can look at it in a negative way, and here's how. Padres' record against winning teams this year, teams that are currently over 500, is 10 games under 500. They're 18-28. They've not been good. Not against the better teams. At least their record doesn't say so. Against the losing teams like the Nationals, they're 24-7. So hopefully they'll keep that going tonight. But can they, continue to feast on the losing teams? Eventually, you'd like to see them step up and start winning some of these games. The other way that you can look at their overall record a bit negatively is to point out that they started the season 14-3, and they've now played 60 games since then, which is quite a few, and the record is 28-32 over that 60-game stretch. However,
you're fueling all the fire out there.
I know I am, and we're going to get to the Pen Pals in a little bit, and everybody's upset. But I started with the negative because I'm going to finish with the upbeat part of it. Padres still are where they are, with no sign yet of Yu Darvish, with no current sign of Michael King, with no sign ever and not going to be of Joe Musgrove, with lengthy injuries to Jackson Merrill and Jake Cronenworth.
Jackson Merrill twice.
Jackson Merrill even, it's another week beyond that. Without basically any left fielder all year. And they're still, there. They're finding ways to win enough games to stay in the hunt. So that the 42-35 in that regard is okay. And here's another way it's okay. Other than Manny, do the Padres to this point in the season have anybody having what you would say is a better year than you expected? I would say only one guy. Manny and Gavin Sheets.
Oh, Gavin Sheets,
right?
Yeah.
And on the pitching side, I think you'd say Pivetta.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And, I know you think the bullpen's great. I do too. But even the bullpen over the last 60 games, and I looked this up, Scrape, because I have no life.
And you needed proof.
I needed proof. Over the last 60 games, the bullpen's ERA is okay, 3.80. Not Hall of Fame, but okay. The bullpen's record is 15-16, a losing record for the bullpen. And also during that span, they have 17 saves and 9 blown saves. So the bullpen hasn't exactly been lights out either. As a matter of fact, you can't tell me you or anyone else feels 100% secure now when the bullpen comes in, whereas we did the first month or so of the season.
And I was waiting for that to wear off because it just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. But now, Estrada's had some real dust ups.
I'm mostly worried about Estrada now, and I know he's going to find it because last year was the same thing. He lost it for a little bit, but I am worried when he comes in.
Mortahone,
he's been all right. He's been good. He's been good.
He's been good as long as they don't hit the ball back to him.
Good point.
Then anything can happen. Jason Adam, who honestly was, I have such high expectation, but he was on honestly a 1-2-3 inning every time. That's not really happening. And, Suarez has become quite hittable here the last at least 2 weeks. So the bullpen isn't there. The other thing is, look at the all-star balloting just for fun. We are nowhere to be found. Luis Arraez is 5th, and he's way behind Bryce Harper, who's in 4th. So Arraez, you could get out the vote, but he's not going to get in. Jake Cronenworth at second base is 8th, and he's nowhere near Ozzie Albies, who's in 7th, so don't even bother. Xander Bogaerts is 9th, and I know you guys all say, well, that's where he deserves to be, and we've already talked about how hot he's been lately, so maybe you should enjoy at least what he's doing now.
I'm a huge Xander
You
fan.
can get back to complaining about him in a couple of weeks if you must.
Not.
But for now, Xander's on fire. All right, Manny's is leading at third base. He's got twice as many votes as Muncy, so it looks like Manny's going to get in.
Yeah.
But that's it. DH, even Gavin Sheets is 9th. Catchers, Elias Diaz is 10th. Fernando's only 8th. And
Fernando's struggled for a long while.
And Fernando's is still 200,000 votes behind 7th place Andy Pajes. So Fernando's not going to any All-Star game unless he's chosen. Jackson Merrill's not either. He's 14th. I just think, look, the All-Star balloting is what it is. It's a popularity contest. But it also goes to show no Padres are really having a standout year. And yet, okay, we're a half game out of a playoff spot behind Milwaukee, but we're 5 games. We're there. We're right in it. I think it's going to be up to AJ between now and the end of July to come up with something really good.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this, Scraby. It's unlikely that Xander's going to start hitting 400 the rest of the way with 30 home runs. It's unlikely that Jake Cronenworth's going to do a whole lot more than he already does. Arraez, I think he can bring the average up, but it's still going to be mostly singles, some doubles thrown in there. Obviously, Manny, Fernando, and Merrill, I think, could do better.
Yeah.
The starting pitching could get healthier. The bullpen could go back to the way it was. But that's a lot of things that have to happen. I would like to see something added to this lineup. It's got to happen, I think, if they're going to make it.
No, it has to.
They may not make it now. I never felt that way. But, they lost yesterday. It would have been 4 straight series. I am getting a little.
You're starting to go down the rabbit hole.
No.
Tessa says, I'm feeling so positive now. Yay. I think what Chris is trying to point out is that even though they haven't been at their best, they're still winning, which is what I've been saying all season long.
That's the best news of all, that they keep winning enough to be right there.
Yeah. Vasquez is another one they said was overperformed this year.
Okay. Good call. Although he didn't do that for the first month and a half. He's done it now. But yeah, I think it's going to be an AJ Preller to the rescue thing here. I hate to say it, and you're putting a lot of pressure on who's ever acquired, but the Padres need a little kick in the arm. They just do. This offense is underwhelming, by and large, underwhelming. It just is. Defense. Base running has been really good.
Yep.
It's won a lot of games for them. And timely stuff. Iglesias is hitting like 230. It seems like he's won 4 or 5 games, including yesterday.
At least 2 in my mind. The one in San Francisco a few weeks ago and then yesterday.
Yeah. So
his WAR is 2 right now.
2.0 or 0.2?
No, I'm saying in my mind.
In your mind, his WAR is 2.
He has won the Padres
He's got
2 games.
2 games, right. Well, we'll see what AJ comes up with. Look, where would they be right now? And if you're an AJ Preller hater, I can't change your mind. But
they're out there.
Where would they be without his signings of Pivetta and Sheets? Where would they be? They would be below the Diamondbacks. I almost can guarantee you that. They probably would be below 500.
I mean, Gavin Sheets.
He's going to have to save. He's going to have to
barrel.
He's going to have to save them again. He's going to have to come up with something.
Yeah. And that's what when I was filling in for Braden last week, it's like this team is not the team that we're going to see in the second half of the season. There's going to be at least one change to it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's
going to have to be, or they're not going to make. They're not. I believe if there's not that change, they're not going to make it.
Do you think that Luis Arraez, do you think that they could trade for a first baseman, put Luis Arraez DH all the time, now have a real first baseman?
I just have Sheets in left field the rest of the way.
Yeah, has he played good enough?
I don't know where he's going to go, but he's going to have to do something.
Yes.
All right, we'll find out more when we get into our Padre Pen Pals. If you think
Bakadaku on the same team, Robin Morg on the same team, Ecom.
We got.
Oh man,
it has to do with average temperatures in the year 2024, and this is the average temperature, hot maximum per day, minimum per day. It is going to be your job today to find the 25 states whose average temperature is under 55 degrees. California's at 60. You're looking for anything under 55. I'm not going to let you go first. I'm going to give Tony first.
Let's start with Montana.
That is correct.
Montana
is the 4th coldest state in the U.S., 44.5 degrees average temperature. All right, Scraby, that leaves a really obvious one for you. I gave Tony first. He didn't take it, so you can.
I don't know that these are that obvious to any of us.
All right,
Chris.
Well, I think one is obvious.
Alaska,
I think. I thought Alaska was pretty obvious. 27.8 degrees average temperature in Alaska. 16 degrees colder than any other state. Tony's up.
Washington, the state.
State of Washington is on the list at 48.4. So Tony takes a 2-1 lead. Scraby, give me a cold state.
Maine.
Tony, you're up 2-2.
How about Idaho?
Idaho's pretty cold. Cold enough at 45.5. 7th coldest in the U.S.
Well, it's my favorite state to say. Minnesota.
Yeah, that was kind of obvious. Same as Idaho. Minnesota, 45.5, Tony.
How about North Dakota?
North Dakota, there you
go.
You found it, number 2. 43.7 there.
I'll take the lesser-known Dakota. The
South Dakota.
I think it's the more-known Dakota.
Yeah, I would think it's more. Tony, you are up in a 4-4 tie with no strikes yet.
How about Oregon?
Oregon. Believe it or not, Oregon's cold enough to make the list. Tony's 5, Scraby's 4.
Never been here, but I knew someone from here and said it's very cold. New Hampshire.
New Hampshire's cold. Tony.
How about Vermont?
Vermont's cold, and it's right next to New Hampshire, so that was good. 46.3. Tony goes up 6-5.
How about Wisconsin?
Wisconsin. I'm pretty sure that's going to be in there. Just below, Tony, you're up.
We're going to move to Wisconsin's neighbor. How about a little Illinois?
Oh.
How about a little Illinois? Little Illinois didn't make it. You can get your first lead of the day here.
A state that I've been to, a state that has beautiful scenery, Wyoming.
That's number 3. Wyoming, 44.3. I can definitely second that.
Laramie is like the
notion, having been there every year to Laramie. It's cold. Tony.
Iowa.
That's a great one.
Is it?
Has to be on there.
51.5. Iowa just snuck in there.
I'm going to bank on the part of the state that's not attached to the paw is cold. Michigan.
Michigan is a winner. Very good. The Upper Peninsula you're referring to.
The paw.
How about Utah?
Utah, Salt Lake City and company. Yep,
Park
it's
City.
cold there. 51.2. That is correct. Tony hits it. 8-8. The only difference is Tony's got a strike.
Nueva York.
Nueva York.
New York for Chris.
It does get cold there in New York. 49 degrees average temperature in New York is Tony.
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
What about Ohio?
You ready to come up with an answer, Scraby?
Ohio.
Too hot.
I
Too
know.
hot.
I was thinking that because it's next to Illinois, but I live
Too
there
hot.
and it snowed.
Is that what you want, Ohio?
Yeah.
54.9.
Oh,
It's the last one on there. Scraby goes up 10-9.
how about a little Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
frigid old Pennsylvania.
Frigid old Pennsylvania.
Home of Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Harrisburg. And cold enough at 52.1 to make the list.
Pennsylvania, baby.
10-10.
Massachusetts?
It has not been said. Doesn't mean it's correct, but it is. 51.2. Scraby hits a bell.
Massachusetts.
11-10. Tony, you're up.
Oh, man, this is hard.
There are 4 left.
Cold. How about Indiana?
Oh.
Indiana. No, Tony. That's a strike. 55.2. Indiana just over by 0.2.
Some of the coldest spots in the country are in the plains. Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Yeah. Lincoln. That's all I got on Nebraska.
Scraby's doing okay. That's correct.
Wow!
52 degrees.
Colorado.
Colorado. Scraby for the win.
One of the most forgotten places in the United States
Is
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. And it is correct.
Yes! Sorry, that was a lot. Does that mean I win?
Game is over. Yes,
Game
you've
is
won.
over!
That was a stupid game.
I didn't think you'd like it since it didn't win it.
Those are my shoes on the glass.
Sound like you're playing basketball over there. Sounds like shoes squeaking on the floor.
Lack of rhythm is what that's called.
I'm not going to disagree with you there. I've told you many times before.
You know, when we talk about baseball,
When do we ever do that?
yeah, that actual part of the show on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com, get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro. Apparently, we don't have T-Mobile here. Apparently, we don't have Allegiant here. Apparently, we don't have... I know we do, but we don't have them here so that they can put their name on an arena, do we?
I see. Oh, because you're just in Vegas.
Driving around Las Vegas, they got an arena. You can't, the old swing a dead cat and hit a new arena in Las Vegas. There's one everywhere. They build one, every 10 minutes in Las Vegas. We have no arenas here.
Oh, we got
Sorry
the sports arena
to my friends at the sports arena, but
and the new one up in Oceanside, Front Wave.
Okay, I'll give you that one, which holds what?
I don't know.
7,000 people.
I'm not sure.
17,000.
So what you're saying is you're looking for like an 18,000 seat arena.
I'm looking for something that makes us seem like we're a big league city. Okay, not a small league city.
NASCAR's coming here. That's a big league sport.
It's not here yet. Front Wave Arena holds 7,500, so I was right.
I'm so happy you were right.
I know. For what it is, Front Wave Arena is terrific. It's perfect for minor league sports. And hey, look, I worked in minor league sports, right? You know that for a long time.
You're
so
not
I'm
taking
not
a
digging
dig at
that.
it. Yeah.
I'm just saying that I want to have the ability to have major league sports. That's all. We're the 8th largest city in the nation. We act like we're the 80th largest.
I honestly don't know. I was talking to someone last weekend about the NBA coming here. I don't know that we're a city for the NBA.
Fine.
Maybe the NHL. I could see us being into the NHL, but I don't
think
know.
we're anything. I don't think we're either of them, honestly.
We're a baseball town. That's it.
And we're hanging on there. Because look, this team is really good. The best it's been consistently for 7 years now?
Yeah. Since we started working
Don't give me a run like they had in the 80s or 90s here with Padre baseball, because we may not be much of a baseball town if something like that were to happen. I hate to tell you, our fans here would go away quickly. Lineups are out. The Nationals are throwing 2 former Padres at us right off the bat, C.J. Abrams and James Wood. Brady House, a big prospect, third baseman, just called up last week in their lineup as well. Josh Bell's playing against us tonight also.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I know. So pretty much everywhere we turn, a former Padre.
Is Luke Voit still with the Nationals?
They have not recalled Luke Voit for tonight's game.
Poor Luke Voit. It seems like that trade ended his career.
I don't know where Luke went.
He went to the Nationals?
No,
went to
I know,
the Brewers?
but he went to oblivion is where he went.
I know.
The
Juan Soto, Luke, he probably wakes up going, Juan Soto.
You love Luke Voit because he had the little chest hair.
Oh, the chest hair was great.
Hair.
And I feel like he was actually a good Padre.
He was a jovial guy.
He was a jovial guy.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Padres lineup tonight, we had it for you earlier, but again, Jackson Merrill bats second, and Luis Arise bats cleanup. Arise will be the DH tonight, with Jake Cronenworth moving to first base, and yesterday's hero Jose Iglesias, playing second tonight.
I have an update on Luke Voit. Thanks to Jax on the chat. He is a first baseman for the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles of Nippon Professional Baseball.
And I bet he's got like 32 home runs. You know what I mean?
See.
It just seems like he would just crush over there.
I'm going to look this up. We got
a minute to look it up. I don't know if you're going to find it in a minute.
I don't know if I'm going to find it in a minute either, but I'm not going to find it.
You're not going to find it.
It's apparently not easy to find NPB stats.
Somebody will find it. Luke Voit, our guy, hit 95 career home runs in the big leagues, led the league in the strike season of 2020, not the strike season, the COVID season. He led all Major League Baseball that year with 22 home runs.
And last year he played in the Mexican League, and he had 23 home runs in 81 games.
Luke hit 13 of his career homers for us. All right, we're ready for I'm trying to hold it off.
No, let's bring
PPP. The questions that I've seen here are just like bringing fire. We're ready.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Got a 2-car collision on southbound 15, right at the South 805 connector ramp. It looks like that is over to the right shoulder. And you'll find some debris in middle lanes on South 15, right before the 78. San Diego summers mean beach days, road trips, ball games. Make sure your ride's ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Drive in, stay in your car, and be done in about 15 minutes. No appointment needed. For coupons, visit SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's time to ask the experts, Padres fans.
I was hoping maybe you can bring a little insight into it.
Write us, tweet us, Facebook us, send a carrier pigeon for Chris. He thinks they're cute. Padres Pen Pals begins.
Hurt the pelota big time.
Now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, guys, it's going to be all negative today. I got some real... Tony says, bring it on, baby! I got some real upset fans out there who apparently didn't pay attention that they just won a series over the Royals, but that's no big deal. So let's get right into it. Oh, first, if you love Mediterranean food, try Spiro's for authentic Mediterranean cuisine in Coronado or La Jolla. For dining or takeout options, visit spiroscuisine.com. First one is about the manager. Mike Shilt's tenure as Padres manager has been underwhelming due to his questionable in-game decisions, inconsistent lineups, and lack of fire. Despite a talented roster that he has, he's failed to let logic win over emotion. His shaky bullpen management and failure to quote-unquote let the boys play has cost them games. You're going to tell me I'm wrong. You're going to tell me I'm making a big deal about nothing, but the real ones know. Let's hope for a manager change in the offseason after they missed the postseason for the second time in 3 years. I want to see a guy who comes in and makes a difference by not being their friend, but by being their boss. Ron Washington is like that, and I think someone like him is what we need to get this team over the top. Chris, you're up first. There's no question, just a statement. What do they need a different manager?
I have a couple of questions for the person who wrote the question.
We went back and forth because I was like, you do realize you're wrong. He's like, I don't care.
Okay, well, I'm not going to start with that. I'm going to start with a couple of questions.
Okay.
Where's Ron Washington's team in the standings at the moment?
The bottom.
Pretty close.
Yeah. Also, I believe he's stepped away.
I also don't know how much fire you want from a manager. Was that Mike Schilt, or was that Billy Martin, or was that Earl Weaver, who came flying out of the dugout the other night and goaded Dave Roberts into a shove, started a bench clearing brawl? I don't know too many managers that have started one of those. Mike Schilt has plenty of fire.
Yes, he does.
And I think this person's asking for more old school, where the manager rules with an iron fist and the players say, that isn't the way it is anymore. So getting him, if you found a manager like that, Ron Washington's a player's manager also, and I'm sure Tony will back that up, but you have to have a personal relationship with your players now in this day and age in order to get them to perform. You cannot rule with an iron fist. So I'm not just going to go crazy on this. I think what was written, most of us are going to disagree with. I'm just trying to give some reasons why I disagree with it.
All right, that's fine. Tony, what do you think about Mike Schilt and the way he manages his team?
I'm not giving any reasons why I disagree with it. I'm just going to say this person has no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it at that.
All right, that's fine. I'm
tired of explaining these things. If you don't know, you don't know. It's fine.
But he said the ones who know.
He said
no.
But the real ones know.
They all thinking like that. There's a bunch of people, according to him, that don't know. So have at it.
Okay, so the next one is about Robert Suarez. I don't know why Robert Suarez is in the firing line, but he is. Robert Suarez is a frustrating, inconsistent closer. He may have a fastball that hits 100, but his poor command leads to walks and hard contact while he's under pressure. His inability to consistently locate pitches or adjust to it is a liability. For the Padres to contend, I heard Tony grumbling. They need more reliability from him. Tony, with a player option after this season, why not trade him?
I don't think that's out of the question.
Okay.
I'm glad that this is the question that ended up coming out of this ridiculous
Yahoo's.
That's not out of the question. I don't think that's out of the question.
What, trade him before the end of this season?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think that's out of the question. I think that I think it would depend on what they're getting back in return. I think they have a bullpen. I think that's been proven. And have they gone through a rough spot? Of course. What bullpen does it? No one goes through this thing unscathed the whole season.
Well, no, every other closer in baseball goes through the season unscathed, according to this question.
Yeah, no, touche.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's out of the question. I mean, it would take the right piece, I think, ultimately. But yeah, I don't think that's out of the question.
Okay. Chris, with a player option coming up after the season, why not trade Robert Suarez?
Well, I hadn't really thought of it at this point. I think he's something that is a huge reason why you are at least where you are. Jason Adam has not been.
Yeah, we ready for Jason Adam to be the closer?
Well, I am, but I mean, he hasn't been as automatic as he had been the first 2 months of the season either. And as Tony said, these guys do go through some ups and downs in the course of a season. However, now that Tony Gwynn Jr., of all people, has said, I think he could be traded, I'm almost kind of expecting him to be traded.
Don't put that on Tony.
I'm not putting it on Tony. I'm just saying that Tony's got a good feel for these things. And I do believe that if they traded him, they could maybe fill some of the holes, and they have some holes here, right? We've talked about it all day already. They've got to get some things tightened up going into the second half of the season. Maybe Suarez is a way to do it.
What were you just showing us in the camera, Tony? It was a bunch of stats.
You didn't see the first name that's highlighted and the numbers that are there with it?
Oh, Suarez. There it is.
No, it's not Suarez.
Wait, I can't. We can't see.
I can't see it.
You can't see it.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm pretty blind to begin with.
So. Who was it?
Adam.
Oh, okay.
Adam. 185. Opponent's
Oh.
hitting 218. I know he's been in a little bit of a rough spot, but he's still been phenomenal.
Oh, I love him. Look, if he was my closer tomorrow, I'd be comfortable. That's why I think your idea is
I'm not saying
bad.
I'm not saying that it's going to happen. The question, what was the question that you gave again?
Why not trade him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I don't think that's a complete out of the question. It won't happen.
I also really love that they think he's terrible, but he's going to bring back a big haul.
Here's the first thing. Yeah, well, first thing, he's not terrible. But second thing, he has not been unbelievable of late. I mean, let's be honest.
Yes.
Iglesias and Jackson bailed him out with an incredible relay play yesterday, or they would have fallen behind in the ninth inning. He did give up a winning home run the other night. He hasn't been automatic, but I don't think any closer really is anymore. And that's my biggest thing. What is better than Robert Suarez? And there isn't a lot out there that's better.
Yeah.
Word up.
All right, let's go to the next one. This one is about Michael King. And let's keep in mind that when this person wrote to me, it was SCHILDT for Schilt, which is not the right spelling. So you don't know ball, sir.
Is this you writing your own letter?
No.
SCH.
Yes, it's SH for everyone out there.
right.
No, I just love because people always point that out to me. If I make one little mistake, it's like, well, you're an idiot because you said it was SCHILDT. If you knew anything about the Padres, it would be SHILDT.
They don't think you're an idiot. They think you don't know ball.
That's
and
the
you
same
are,
thing.
You are very defensive about that.
Because I'm tired of being told it.
Just be comfortable in your own skin and understand that you know ball and don't react to it every time. That's better.
I know. You know what is inside of me? I feel like after 7-8 years of learning baseball, I feel like I know enough ball to know more ball than them. So I have to let them know. I need to let it go.
Let it go.
Need to let it go.
When you let it, the people that trying to, the people, Tony, Tony's with me here. The people who have to let you know that they know ball,
it's true.
Sometimes really don't know it.
Oh, so I like where, okay.
Just like the people who have to tell you how great they are. Sometimes they ain't that great.
Okay. All right, here it is.
Just a little advice for
you,
it is. Sir.
Dude, are you serious with this Michael King thing? Schilt, with an SCH, said it's something baseball doctors have never really seen or dealt with. What kind of bed is this guy sleeping on? A slab of stone? Can someone get this guy a bed that isn't the equivalent to sleeping on the floor? I read that he said some days he wakes up and feels like he can pitch. Some days he wakes up and it is sore. I don't care what you do, but do something, bro. I guess this shouldn't be surprising because of the Padres' history of saying guys are fine, then have them come back 2 years from now. So, Chris, you're up first on this one. Should we just count out Michael King for the rest of the season?
I hope not. I mean, honestly, if we're going to go ahead and count the guy out for the rest of the season, man, that's
to be fair, he said he expects to pitch again this year.
Everybody, I think, really expects him to. This goes back to what we talked about at the very beginning of the season, and this isn't Michael King's fault. I don't think it's Mike Schultz's fault. I don't think it's the organization's fault, because I think every team and organization is similar to how the Padres handle things. They try to err on the side of caution, but it's just worked out this year, where every single person that they thought wasn't really hurt bad has been hurt longer. And that has just created a lot of distrust. I don't think they did it intentionally.
I don't think there's anything new here.
But there's some distrust now, because when they tell me this guy's going to be here or there,
all right,
I need to wait and see if they're here or there. Now, it went the other way last week with Fernando. We
did.
thought Fernando was going to be out for a long time after that hit by pitch. Mike Schilt was erring on the side of caution. Then boom, he's in the lineup in right field.
It's true.
So I don't think they've lied to us once. I just think it's been a season like this where little tiny things have grown into bigger things. And so, we're a little uneasy about it. Michael King is the perfect example, unfortunately.
You'd rather things...
But then what were they supposed to say when he got hurt?
I think let me just go ahead and get to my point, because
go for it.
I think people hear what they want to hear, because at no point in this King thing have they said he's going to be back. They said they are hopeful. They never said he was coming back on this day. They literally said he slept on it wrong, which no one believes. So that's where your distrust starts at, because no one believed he slept on it wrong.
Right.
And so that's on you, the people who think that that's a lie, or that wasn't to be the truth. That's your deal. Padres never said anything. I'm talking about Michael King's injury specifically.
Yes.
That would indicate he was coming back. I think you heard the first day when they said, hopefully we're going to give it a day. Hopefully he'll be ready to go tomorrow. He wasn't able to go. And then everybody's brain kind of exploded and took on whatever it took on at that point. This is a nerve injury that they can't explain. And by the way, it wasn't baseball doctors have never seen it before. It's not what was said. Again, you're just making up your own facts in this. That never was said. That baseball doctors have never seen this. This is like a brand new injury. No, what's happened is the few guys that have had it have all kind of had the same type of deal. It's a nerve, so it's going to get better when it gets better. And it ain't there right at this point. And so, I hope that is – I think everybody expects him to pitch before the end of the season. Like, this isn't a season anything. But you ultimately are in a wait-and-see mode, because no one really knows when it's going to get better.
Did I ever tell you about the time that when I used to play hockey every Tuesday night? I mean, I stopped playing right about when the show started. But I hurt myself broadcasting a game and sitting in a confined chair for 15 innings in Long Beach one day doing an Aztec baseball game. I got home the next day and my sciatic was killing me and on down my leg.
That was painful.
2 days later, I went to play hockey, put my skates on, went out on the ice, turned left, and fell down. And I fell because the nerve that gives – it's fine. Yeah, it was embarrassing.
Just a visual of Chris
I just went plop right down. Yeah, I did. I went right down. And the nerve –
So you just went right the rest of the time?
The ligament, the whatever that holds up my leg on that turn had evidently stopped working from that sciatic.
Yeah.
And it never came back.
Oh.
And I still don't play hockey because I can't turn that way.
I was just about to make a joke. I didn't know it was real.
It's totally, you guys
You're
have fun.
you can't be a NASCAR driver now.
Yeah, I'd have to go around one side. I could
you have to go opposite way.
I'd have to circle to the right the whole game. But my point is, I'm kind of over it now, so I can laugh at it. But I hated this because I really couldn't skate and do what I needed to do. And this just happened, and I tried everything: acupuncture, this, that, all kinds of treatments, strengthening, PT. Nothing brought it back.
Wow.
So nerves are weird.
They are weird.
Yeah,
I hope for Michael King it comes back.
I mean, what people don't know is that you could just move in a certain way and it hurts. And one day it hurts and the next day it doesn't. But nerves are tough to deal with because you can't really do anything, I don't think, right?
You want to find video of me falling, don't you?
I know I won't be able to find it, but I just imagine Chris turning left and just falling flat on his face.
I had no idea what was going to happen, right? I didn't expect it.
That video, especially the first time he didn't expect it, would be gold.
Yeah,
gold. Like him, like it is determined to skate off going to his left, and just
and being on the ice and going, "How did I get here?"
Did you hit your head?
Probably a lot too many times.
Oh, okay.
Actually.
All right. Real quick, this is the last one. There's nothing really to say about it, but it's a positive one for all of us. And this person wrote to me, I want to tell you that you guys have a really hard job dealing with all the clueless idiots who think they know baseball. I'll say it for you. They don't know ball. That is all. Keep up the good work. Thank you for that.
Thank you, anonymous person.
All right, Chris versus the fans up next. Your chance for a qualification for a trip to Las Vegas, 833-288-0973.
Padres.
And now, the challenger, representing the San Diego Padres, number 20, Kyle Higashioka. Just 1 minute remaining. Out of here. That one up into the monster seat. Another home run. And that ends the round. He ends the round with 7 home runs. And he has earned the trip to the semifinal matchup. Now, the challenger in this semifinal matchup, number 20, Kyle Higashioka. No doubt about that one. That one carried on to Lansdowne. That one is gone. He now has bonus time. Just 1 minute remaining. No question about that one. And tapped it up to put up in the championship matchup. And that ends the round. Finishes. Let's see what he can do. And now, the challenger in this championship round, Kyle Higashioka. That one carried on to Lansdowne. That one is gone. And he's earned 30 seconds of bonus time. Just 1 minute remaining. That draw off the right pole. There's a home run. 30 seconds left. And now, the challenger, representing the San Diego Padres, number 20, Kyle Higashioka. Mr. C. He ends the round with 7 home runs. And he has earned a trip to the semifinal matchup.
Welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. 4:01 is the time. Happy you're with us on this Monday. Oh, man. Tough to shake off some of those questions on the
It's like, what happened?
Yeah, well, hey, I mean, we're under siege. You think the Padres are 25-52 right now.
Yeah.
You know, sounds like they're 27 games under 500, not 7 games over 500.
Yeah.
But yeah, fans, you know, they want more. They want better. You know, but they're the same fans that I'm pretty sure they released Xander Bogaerts, those fans, at least a month and a half ago, maybe earlier than that, Scraby.
Yeah, I think so too.
So the 11 for 19 that Xander did here the last 5 games didn't really happen. He's not on the team anymore.
It's just a figment of our imagination.
Yeah, 11 out of 19. He's hitting .579 over the last 5 games. 3 doubles, a home run, a couple of RBIs, a couple of steals. Some decent defense I noticed yesterday as well, people. I know you don't think he can throw or do those things. Seems like when he gets to the ball, his arm's just fine. Anyway, the criticism is fine. Look, he's not been great. I'm not trying to tell you he's had a Hall of Fame season. I'm saying that there isn't anything out there that's going to make it better. And you might as well root for him. And if you are rooting for him, you're being rewarded at the moment.
Yes, you are. And this is why I learned years ago that I cannot DFA someone
just because they have
game
a bad
60.
week. Yeah.
Because I used to be the guy who DFA'd many a guys.
Hey, Fernando's home run yesterday was his first in like forever.
Yeah.
Jackson Merrill has 1 home run.
2 days ago.
I mean, right. Yeah. Jackson Merrill has 1 home run since May 7th.
He almost had another one yesterday.
I know. He could have used it too. My point being, are we DFAing those guys? Obviously, Mike Schultz no longer the manager. He was fired 35 games ago when they lost their first game of the season.
He was.
Yeah. We're down to, in fact, we've gone through 35 managers this year.
Uh-huh.
Because you're only as good until your next loss.
I hate to say it this way, but do we want Andy Green as the manager right now? Do you want Jace Tingler as the manager right now?
No, we don't have them either. Them and Tingler, Green, we've gone through them and recycled them, and we've fired them this year too.
What about Bomel?
Well, look, Giants probably think he's doing all right. They're ahead of us.
No, yeah, that's probably that's not. Let me start that over, Chris. That's not true because my friends are always like, "How did you guys handle Bomel in San Diego?" And I'm like,
"Why? Though the Giant fans think he's terrible.
They don't think he's terrible. They just think that he's too cautious." And I'm like, you guys are winning. Stop. Pay attention to the win column, people.
I'll tell you one thing. Bob Melvin has a bullpen that has Camilo Duvall and Ryan Walker in it, and he still finds a way to negotiate these games.
And Matt Chapman's out.
The Padres at least have, Suarez and Adam and Estrada and some guys that are, normally capable of finishing games.
Yep.
Giants are doing it without that.
Did you know this makes...
You know who's hot for the Giants right now? And I mean hot.
White hot?
White hot.
Is it Casey Schmidt?
It is. Casey Schmidt, the Aztec, he had a 4 for 4 the other day. I know that. Hit another home run. Had the back-to-back games with a grand slam last weekend. Anyway, Casey Schmidt. Who knew?
Who was it last year that was had some like historic? Fitzgerald. He had like 5 home runs.
Second half of the year.
Yeah,
Fitzgerald went crazy. No, Casey Schmidt's hitting like 500 the last 7 games with 3 homers and 9 RBIs. That's since Chapman went on the injured list. That's how teams stay, in the hunt. Guys like that fill in, do the job. Let's play Chris versus the fans. Enough. already.
You had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself.
Howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Here's what you're playing for. You will be qualified for a chance to win a grand prize. A spa and pool getaway at Resorts World Las Vegas, home of the largest elevated pool complex on the Strip. You'll receive a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas, dine poolside at one of the 5 unique pool experiences, and experience the ultimate in relaxation and wellness at Awana Spa, one of the largest co-ed spa facilities in Las Vegas. To book your summer stay, please visit rwlasvegas.com. Now, the rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get the question wrong and Chris gets it right, you are eliminated. But if Chris gets the question wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know before you get into it, and you'll get that first question for free today.
By the way, Casey Schmidt's hot, but Cal Raleigh, much hotter. Hitting 500 with 5 home runs and 12 RBIs in the last 5 games.
Wow.
And MLB Network just had a conversation as to who should be AL MVP, which goes to show what I said.
Are they
Judge
listening
is
to
the runaway
show?
guy, but Cal Raleigh is starting to make waves.
Yeah.
31 homers. No catcher's ever done that before the All-Star break.
And he's a switch hitter.
He's got 21 homers left-handed, 10 right-handed. So he's pretty good both ways. Anyway, move on. Let's play some trivia here.
I got lost.
I'm getting off the beaten path as well.
I know. I got more complaints too over the weekend that I can never get in for Chris versus the Fans. So this week, what I'm going to do is once I have all the lines filled, if you call in too early, I'm sorry, that's your fault. I'm going to clear them.
Ooh.
So
did you just do that?
I did that earlier. Yes.
Oh, so these should be people that called in when it was their turn.
Yeah.
Rather than anticipating the game.
Yeah, just because you get there first doesn't mean you get on the show.
It may make Scraby angry.
Well, I honestly just don't like being. Why did you ever choose me? Okay. Sorry. Next time I'll do that. All right, let's go to Cameron in San Diego. Cameron, hello.
Cameron, you've been chosen, Cameron.
Scraby, why did you ever choose me? I was there. I'm sorry. I didn't choose you. Anyway, Cameron, are you ready?
Chose Cameron.
Ready.
All right.
Play ball.
Here we go. Question number 1. If you were listening to us just a little bit ago, you'll know the answer to this. What baseball league does Luke Voigt now play in?
Oh, wow. You had to be listening, though, because
no one knows the answer to this.
People aren't going to know this.
What's the question?
What country does Luke Voigt play baseball in now?
It's easier.
Oh, man, I didn't hear the question, but I heard something about Hungary earlier, so I'm just going to throw that out there.
Hungary. Plays in Hungary.
Can I ask him the question one more time?
No, he heard that Hungary.
Yeah. He said he didn't hear the question.
Tell him the question.
I didn't.
What country does Luke Voigt play baseball in right now? What country?
Oh, Luke Voigt play baseball in right now. Oh, I'm going to say, Canada.
Canada.
Oh, Canada. Whoops.
My home native land.
Chris, I know.
I heard the Canadian national anthem a lot when I did hockey games. He's in Japan. Sorry about that. But thanks for playing, Cameron. Okay, move on.
I felt like he needed a second go.
Does it? Yeah. No, you gave him every chance.
Let's go to Joaquin. I don't know why I say your name like that. Joaquin, how are you?
Yeah, no kidding.
Good. How are you?
Hi, Joaquin.
Good.
Good to have you with us, sir.
Ready to play, sir?
Good luck.
Yes, I am.
All right, here we go. By the way, I think it's really funny that Cameron chose Hungary. It's still one of my favorite moments of the show.
Yeah.
All right, Joaquin. What is the only major team sport in the United States where every play starts with the ball in the defense's hands?
Oh.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah. Like in a baseball game, where does the ball start?
With the pitcher?
Yeah.
So what sport is that?
Sport has the defense start with
MLB.
There
Sorry.
you go. There you go. I know. You kind of threw him. I was helping him.
I know
I was truly overthinking that.
Yes, you were.
Thank you
Yes,
for
you were.
admitting that, Joaquin.
As a matter of fact, baseball is so weird that if the offense even touches the ball, they're out.
That is weird. I never thought about it.
Offense
like that.
can't even touch the ball. They do in any way. Batters out
That
or
is
runners
true.
out.
That's so weird.
Yeah, can't touch the ball.
That's why baseball's so weird.
There you go.
All right, Joaquin, we're going to question number 2. People are going to be mad we gave hints, but I don't
we
care.
helped them out.
I don't care.
I'm a fan of Point Loma, and Joaquin's calling from around Point Loma, so he's getting extra credit.
All right, let's do this. What name does a quarterback call one of the linebackers they're facing on defense? What person's name, does a quarterback call one of the linebackers they're facing on defense?
For every play, they
Like
usually
52
yell.
52.
Mike.
Mike is correct.
You got it. Very good. Joaquin's rolling.
52's the Mike.
He's the Mike.
All right. Final question, Joaquin.
What's the other one? One's a Mike and the other's another name, but I don't know the other name. There's something else. If you're not
Anello.
No. It's not that.
All right. Let's see here. Oh, I love this question. I'm glad I remembered. Who is the Padres starting pitcher in Game 1 of the 2022 NLDS against the Dodgers? Starting pitcher, Game 1, 2022.
2022
against the Dodgers.
They lost that game, I believe.
They did.
Tough.
I know Mike Clevinger pitched.
He got it. He's giving it to you. Good
I cannot
job,
believe Joaquin
with a victory.
Dang, Joaquin. Stay right there, sir.
You know, if I wasn't so sore from sitting in the car for 6 hours yesterday, I might even stand for that, Joaquin. Well done.
People are going to be very upset with how he handled that
First of
game.
all, you also rang the bell before he had really given the answer. He was just thinking about Mike Clevinger. He hadn't actually decided
I didn't expect
on that.
anyone. Did you know that, though, Mike Clevinger?
I don't think so. The other linebacker, the Mike linebacker and the Will linebacker.
Oh, that's right, Will.
But good job, Joaquin. Stay on the line. You're the winner, Chris, versus the fans today. We got some baseball news and notes to pass along. When we come back, big name player was DFA'd today. In fact, 2 of them were.
Oh, yeah.
So I can hear that the Padre fans will be, we got to get these guys.
Let's go.
We'll tell you who they are when Gwynn and
One
Chris
man's trash is another man's treasure.
We'll talk about who they are and what their possibilities are of coming here next. After
From the 8.
Congratulations to Joaquin out there. Nice job on Chris versus the fans. Bit of an assist from Scraby. Everybody in the chat's going to let him know about that.
Actually, no one's really unhappy with me, so
All
that's
right, good. Joaquin, well done.
Yeah.
Mike Clevenger, man. You know how
different. That's 3 years ago, Chris.
It seems like it's 30 years ago.
It does,
because he was going to lead us to the glory land.
Yes, he was.
All right. Anyway, Tony rejoins, as I said, for the Big Five. Don't forget tonight, if you're out there, like let's say you're home right now, you're listening to the show, or you're watching on YouTube, and everybody's ready to go to the game tonight. I have an idea for you. Jump in the car and go to the game now. Why? Because only the first 40,000 fans tonight are going to get a Fernando Tatis bat flip bobblehead. So if you're ready to go, like now, go and just don't mess around.
I agree.
I love these promotions. I do. I just worry that there's going to be way more than 40,000 people tonight, and I don't want you to get shut out there of the bobblehead. They're pretty cool, man. He's got the City Connect on. He's got the bat flips around.
I know that you're
Pretty
going
good.
tonight.
I am going, but I don't really go for these things. So,
if you get one, can you maybe bring it back for me?
That would require me actually carrying it back.
I realize this.
Okay,
I realize
just so
this.
you know.
If you don't, it's okay because I am the person who says don't do that for people.
Would you like me to go down and get it signed by him? Also after the game for you?
No, I can't make fun of people waiting for autographs on Friday and then ask for an autograph on Monday.
40,000, first 40,000 tonight. Bobblehead night. Padres Nationals. Mitchell Parker. He's the pitcher for the Nats tonight. Right now, he's tied with 10 others with 8 losses this year. He's 4-8. There's only 2 guys in baseball have more losses than Mitchell Parker, and one of them is named Mitch
Keller.
Yeah, Mitch Keller's 1-10 for the
Whoa.
Pirates.
I mean-
Antonio Senzatella is a 10-game loser for the Rocks.
Oh.
Here's the difference with Mitch Keller: 16 starts this year. He's had 11 quality starts, and yet he's 1-10. That's
I mean,
a
I know
hang with him.
you're a team player and all that, but deep down inside, he's got to be like, these guys are just
They're killing
wasting
him.
my career right
There's
now.
only 3 guys who have more quality starts in all of baseball than Mitch Keller, and one of them is on his own team. Paul Skeens has 12.
Wow.
The other 2 are Max Fried and Logan Webb, who have quite a few more than 1 win. Speaking of statistics, Scraby and I bet on, or one of our picks tonight was that Aaron Judge would go over the number total bases. One swing of the bat took care of that. He homered in his first at bat tonight, his 28th of the year.
See, betting's easy.
Yankees lead the Reds 1-0 in Cincinnati. Judge probably getting wind of the fact that Cal Raleigh is starting to gain some attention for the MVP.
Maybe.
You know, Judge is like, wait a minute, I better get
start
everybody
turning
back
it up.
talking about me. By the way, Judge still having an incredible year, but he's now 33 points below 400. That's how absurd it was when people kept talking about, oh, yeah, Aaron Judge got a chance to make a run at it. No, he didn't.
It would be incredibly hard to keep that up.
Especially a guy like Aaron Judge, who doesn't hit many base hits. So, yeah, that was crazy thinking. You know who leads the National League in hitting right now? Just National League hitters. My stomach is turning.
Is it Freddie Freeman? Oh, no, I know who it is.
Even
It's
worse.
Will Smith.
Yeah, I like Freddie Freeman. I don't like Will Smith.
No, that walk-off home run still is like...
Still irks, doesn't it?
It annoys me
that was
still.
tough. Manny's, they go up and down, right? Manny's at 305. He was way up there in the 330 there for a couple of minutes. It's the nature of the game. Hate to remind you, but that is the story.
And right now, with Manny, quote-unquote, slumping, he has the team picking him up, right? And that's exactly what's supposed to happen.
They've been coming up with some wins that they need. Rowdy Tellez is one of the players that was DFA'd this weekend. Big left-handed guy.
Yeah.
Near the front of the chow line. every
That's
night.
Messed up.
That's mean, but Rowdy is a big boy.
He's big. Yes.
He's got 11 home runs. He's hitting 208. Is he your first baseman the rest of the year and Arise DH?
No.
Or is Tellez your DH the rest of the season? I'm just saying some Padre fans will go there. The other guy DFA'd today, Cincinnati Reds infielder Jeimer Candelario.
Yes.
Goodbye to him.
Jamer.
He's 31 years old. He just came off the injured list. He made $45 million last year contract, 3 years, 45. And now this year, see you later.
See, that's a complete waste of money for the Reds.
He hit 113 this year with 2 home runs. Again, I'm not thinking Jeimer, Mr. Candelario is the
Mr. Candelario.
I don't believe he's the antidote to what ails the Padres. A couple of other quick baseball notes. The Mets have demoted their young second baseman, Luis Angel Acuna. They also devoted Alvarez, the catcher.
Which is kind of crazy.
Man, that guy was supposed to be the next star player. You know, you don't know. Luis Torrens, former Padres, now the Mets starter. Behind the dish, Mets have lost 8 of 9 and fallen behind the Phillies in the NL East. Ooh. By the way, Acuna was replaced with Travis Jankowski, an old Padre.
No.
Goes back into the big leagues.
You know what? Francisco Alvarez, that's kind of, you get sent down to AAA. It's not good. He's got to go to Syracuse, too.
Oh, it's chilly there.
It's chilly.
James McCann, who's 35-year-old catcher, picked up by the Diamondbacks as a backup. Their starter, Gabriel Moreno, is on the injured list right now. Think that does it for baseball notes that you must know. When we come back, Big Five that you must know. As Gwynn and Chris rolls on.
Ben and Woods on the Fan.
Former
Scraby's forehead is shining. You'll understand what I'm talking about.
Hold on.
As we get into today's...
I didn't realize you were going to go so quick.
We're going to get into today's Big Five when you're ready.
Oh, man.
Get ready.
I'm trying. Now it's not working.
Get set.
Now it's not working. Hold on.
Crowd is going crazy.
The crowd goes wild.
Pushing and shoving toward the entrance.
Okay.
They want in.
I think we're ready.
Let's go.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
I'm going to immediately derail us in the Big Five because I got a message over the weekend about when we do our recordings for the Big Five sometimes. We sometimes do it live. We sometimes do it recorded. But the room that we're in, when we record, the light makes my forehead very shiny. And someone said that I need to start wearing makeup in that room because my forehead is so reflective that it's distracting.
Huh? If you ever come in here with makeup and eyeliner on, I'm out.
I thought that was hilarious because, Adam gets that all the time. They say when he fills in, it bounces off the top of his bald head, and so now he wears a hat when he's in studio. What are you gonna say, Tony?
Use a little powder. We'll soften it a little bit.
Okay.
All
right.
I still need to go get powder. Like that last day in LA, it was so hot. Like when I went back and watched, I could see like the beads of sweat building up like around my nose. And I was like, maybe I do need to
I will admit that when I do
my own makeup kit.
I did a TV hit this morning on KUSI.
Whoa.
And they don't even offer me stuff. I think they should.
I was on Fox 5 last week, Chris.
Good for you.
They didn't offer me anything.
You know who was on Fox 5 alongside of me today was Sam. He was over in the other studio.
Sammy Lev
was there. He probably does put makeup on if I know Sam Lev.
Listen, my counterparts, Jess and Don.
No, they all have it. They travel with a little thing. Yeah.
I'm the one that don't travel. I usually am depending on, who's ever's in there to have some translucent makeup that can work on my dark skin as well.
Actually, this has been fascinating. I've learned a lot.
Yeah, I learn something new every day.
I think at this age, I don't think there's anything that can save me now. So I just go with what I got.
All right. Well, that was a more fun topic than I expected. So thank you for sending me the message that said my forehead is too shiny.
Number 5.
The new Pac-12 has found its primary media partner, and now it's time to finalize the next member school because they found the CBS Sports is going to be extending the deal through the 2030-31 season as the anchor media platform of the new conference, paving the way for the next phase of the Pac-12's rebirth, which is expansion. Conference officials have engaged in conversations with executives at Texas State, sources tell Yahoo Sports, and they work towards a membership agreement that could start in the fall of 2026. While no deal is finalized, this is expected to reach, it's supposed to happen soon if it's going to happen. And blah, 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 blah. Chris, is this, I'm not being negative, is this basically a slightly better Mountain West?
I think at this point it is, honestly. I would love to say something different, but yeah, it's a half a step up. But the good news, I think, and we're talking about this from San Diego State's perspective, I assume.
Correct.
I do think it's a half a step up. But the good news to me is whereas I don't think the Mountain West was ever going to go beyond what it is, I think the Pac-12 could conceivably go way beyond where it currently is. And it's just a matter of, how much money is actually in these television contracts. You hear so many different reports, how much money these schools are actually going to clear. And how much, these schools are going to be able to put toward their programs to somehow try to compete with the NIL, machines of the SEC and the Big Ten and the Big 12. Now, I don't expect the Pac-12 to get to their level even by 2030. But I at least think the name, the Pac-12, I think CBS is good. It's a lot better than what people were saying, which was CW, which I don't think even people can find. So
where Liv went to die.
I think where we are right now is a half step ahead, but at least the opportunity is there if they do a lot of things right. Get the right squad. I don't know if it's Texas State. I don't know if it's Memphis. I don't really know, who the right one is. But the teams that are in this conference, and hopefully Gonzaga and San Diego State just kill it in basketball for a few years, to compete with the other big, conferences. So, I like where it could go.
Okay. Tony, is this basically a slightly better Mountain West?
And what is the basis of you asking? Is this based off the new deal with CBS?
It's just CBS, Texas State. Texas State is not the biggest brand name in the world for college football, but everybody needs to start somewhere.
No, I don't. I think this is a lot better. Even with the addition of Texas State, it's a lot better than the Mountain West. I think Texas State, for everything, is really more about being able to possibly secure one of those playoff spots with football. So you needed the 8th team. I don't know that it mattered. It would have been nice for it to be a more notable school. But I don't think in terms of the money that you get, the sports teams get from the Pac-12 versus what they get in the Mountain West, I don't think it's close. And so therefore, I do think it's a much better upgrade. Now, I think obviously that has to have some legs as you try to build the conference out more and grow it up in a way that, the Pac-12 was known for prior to. But I think the starting point is much better than where the Mountain West was, even with an addition of Texas State. Now, that hasn't been cemented in terms of who that 8th team. It could turn out to be Memphis. These things, what we do know is that they're fluid. And one week it's Texas State, the next week it's someone else. But I like where, at least from the terms of where San Diego State stands, I like where they are with this move. It's not as glamorous, I think, as we thought about when we first heard Pac-12, but I still think they're in a much better spot than they were in the Mountain West.
I still would like to, keep alive the hope of bringing Cal and Stanford back to a reasonable place to play their sports.
I think they like flying all over the country.
I don't think they do. And the other thing that I would do if I was San Diego State, if I was J.D. Wicker, I would spend a bunch of time researching 2 schools in particular. One is TCU, one is Utah. Both of those were Mountain West Conference schools that were about on par with the Aztecs in most sports. Some they were better, some the Aztecs were better. But TCU went up to the Big 12. Utah went up to the then better Pac-12. Now, both those schools are huge, right?
Yeah.
And competing for overall championships. How did they get from there to here? And I think the Aztecs have to try to follow a similar path.
I 100% agree, specifically TCU, because that team started in the Mountain West at one point, right? And what they did was all of their teams got better, and it forced the hand of, so this makes perfect sense. They're dominating the Mountain West in all sports when they were here, if we're being honest. Football, basketball, maybe not as much basketball, but certainly baseball, they were a team to deal with. And so it's not like you can just jump the line. You got to actually build those athletics up in a way that forces other conferences to kind of have to take a look like, they would be a great addition to what we are trying to do. So yes, TCU and them did that, but they also did their part in terms of making their teams, whatever sport we're talking about, on par with the conferences they ended up going to.
Yeah, we don't need any A's over here in the new look Pac-12. Just status without spending money.
A's?
Like the A's, the team, status without spending money.
I'm sorry, that one went over my head.
Okay,
I couldn't.
That was such a good question that I ruined it with that little joke.
You did.
Yes, you did.
And I couldn't even hear you because your forehead was too shiny. I couldn't focus.
I've been looking at this entire time. All right. We do need to pick it up a little bit, guys. No, those are good answers from both of you. Alex Caruso and the OKC Thunder are NBA Finals champions after their Game 7 win over the Pacers yesterday. Caruso had a message for everyone about this championship. versus the one he won with the Lakers in the 2020 bubble. Here is what he said.
Yeah, now I got a real one. Now nobody can say anything. Yeah, I think just because of the way the team is constructed now versus the team I had in 2020, like it was much harder with this team just because of the experience, right? And everybody talked about you need experience to win a championship, and you need this, that, and the other. And I said multiple times through the postseason with this team that good basketball is good basketball, winning basketball is winning basketball, and the best team can win no matter what happens if you go out there and execute and do the stuff that you need to do to win the game. And I think through the playoffs, this team grew up and learned on the fly.
All right, that's what I had to say. But really, the main point I was trying to get to here was when he said, I got a real one now. So
he also said it with a dark black hat that covered his eyes. You may want to consider that because it's much easier.
I get it. My forehead is shiny.
Yeah, much easier on the eyes. Watching Caruso.
Which win do you think is actually more difficult? Because I could argue that the bubble may be more difficult.
I think for the reasons that Caruso said, made that a more difficult. I think theirs was more difficult from a mental and physical standpoint. Maybe not as much a physical, certainly a mental standpoint in terms of the Laker one he won, right? They had to go in a bubble, and by all accounts, although at the time we were very grateful to be watching sports, it seemed like hearing from those guys who were stuck down there that it was not all that great.
They hated it.
They hated it. Exactly. And so the fact that they were able to kind of mend their minds together from a mental standpoint and get to that point, that's probably hard. But in terms of what Caruso was talking about, the experience, like having to learn that on the fly, as we know, is extremely difficult. But they pulled it off, man. You got to give OKC a ton of credit because although it was clear that they were a really good team, I had my doubts, and it all really stemmed about the lack of experience, and they proved that they could overcome it. That lack of experience certainly reared its head at times during the entire run, but to be able to figure that out on the fly, I think is really, really impressive. And I can see why he, as a veteran on that team, having to kind of talk to these young guys and tell them things that are coming that they have never seen before. I can 100% see why he said that was the toughest one.
Okay, Chris, what do you think?
Well, I just think, what Tony said. Oklahoma City gets all the props. They got it done, despite, a few naysayers, two of them who sit on this show, but because everybody else thought they were going to run away with it, as we've discussed many times. But I do want to say one thing about Caruso. I don't think OKC is a champ today without this guy.
No shot.
I can't tell you how many key plays I thought he made throughout this series, defensively, big three-point shots. Whatever they needed, he plugged in and gave to them. But what he gave them more than anything else was the experience of a champion. And that spoke volumes for this team. And I think it's interesting because if anybody ever said, who's better, Josh Giddey or Alex Caruso,
that meme popped up earlier in the year, didn't it?
Yeah, Josh Giddey would win 100-1 because he's the more talented basketball player. But Caruso's got something that Josh Giddey probably never going to have, and that's the ability to know how to win. And OKC was smart to make that trade, obviously.
All right. Whoops. Hold on. I had the thing down.
Number 3.
Jeff Passan over the weekend was very, very upset about one thing. The Coastal Carolina ejections during the College World Series yesterday.
Jeff Passan was upset?
He was very upset. Here's his tweet, and there's two of them.
Right.
He said, the first one, there are very few combinations of words in the English language that warrant ejecting a coach from an elimination game in the Men's College World Series Finals. And yet, Coastal Carolina's Kevin Schnall and first base coach Matt Schilling just got run in the first inning. Then he follows it up a little bit later while posting a video, said, quote, "You missed 3 pitches does not qualify as one of those combinations. If this is all it took for Kevin Schnall to get ejected, that is absurd." So then you go into the replies, and I look at all this, and I see all these people finding out who this umpire is, and then that now they want to go after the umpire. So I think, in my opinion, journalists have some sort of responsibility to not inflame things. Jeff Passan is not shy of sharing his opinion. Chris, should he further the fuel the fire by replying the way he did? Does he have responsibility is what I'm asking.
Yeah, that was really
I know.
Clean, clear, concise question.
I went off script.
Yeah, well, don't do that anymore.
I know.
Because obviously we see what happens.
I know.
You know what I think? First of all, let's comment on what I saw, because you can't hear everything that was said down there. From what I saw, I thought it was absolutely ludicrous to be throwing this guy out of a game of that magnitude based on him barking at some balls and strikes. You ask him to stop, or you tell him to stop. He comes out and he says you missed 3, because that you could clearly read his lips.
Yeah, and he put his
and
hand
now
up.
he's tossed. These umpires have got to have a little, better understanding of the situation than that. But again, maybe he was just completely out of line before that. I don't know how he could have got that upset in the first inning, but maybe he was. Secondly, if Jeff Passan doesn't say something, if people don't comment, then this kind of thing has a better chance of happening again. So I think you have to point it out. I do. Because I don't think this is a good look for umpires in general, for arbiters in all sports. I don't like when the World Series becomes about a home plate umpire.
Yeah,
that's not what you want. And Jeff Passan's trying to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Interesting. I didn't even think about it like that. Tony, should he further fuel the fire by replying the way he did, Jeff Passan?
He replied to the comments.
No, he replied.
He replied to the actual.
Yeah,
rejection.
he basically was just making it really clear that the umpire was out of line here.
I think the umpire was out of line. I've always felt this way about college umpires. Like, they seem to want to be part of the show.
Maybe they want to get noticed so somebody will pull them to the next level.
Especially some of these, umpires that coach in some of the bigger conferences. They certainly seem to have a little bit of a chip. I 100% agree with Chris said. I mean, typically, like if he had been barking the whole time, I think the broadcast would have made note of it, because they can always see what's happening, right? And so even as they discussed it, they didn't discuss it in a way like he had been going on and on and on. It seemed like the game hadn't been enough game for him to go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And so you got that part. My man is going to be suspended for 2 games for an alleged bump that he never actually touched the umpire. He tripped over the other umpire's leg and was embarrassed in front of all those people, and immediately gave him the you're going to be you touch me signal. This is going to be problem signal that he gave.
Yeah.
But I agree with Chris, man. Like, I think it's a little bit crazy to be throwing a guy out of the game that magnitude that early. When, quite frankly, he had a reason to be complaining in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So it goes back to that idea of, we talked about maybe a couple weeks ago, when umpires having a little feel like, when you've completely messed one, where it could have gone either way,
right? And
kind of give the grace accordingly, right? And I would be hard pressed for anybody to convince me that umpire thought for sure, like he was 100% sure the ones he called strikes that my man was complaining about were strikes, because they couldn't have been, right? They couldn't have been 100% sure. But I think this is another one of those instances where an umpire overreacts, or
who won the World Series?
LSU.
I know, but that's about the 4th most important thing, and that's
right.
Just not the way it should be.
Right, we're talking about the ejection versus LSU winning a title with being one of the first teams in a long time to not lose a game. They ran a table in that bad boy.
Tony, yes or no? Did Jeff Passan pour fuel on the fire?
No, I think he was just pointing out everything that we already saw.
You guys took a way different route than I even considered.
I think Jeff sometimes does.
He gets a little in there.
He's passionate about what he's talking about, but in this case, I think he was pointing out something that was obvious, and I don't think he was pouring fuel on fire. People are already irritated anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of fire already in that one.
And if you're gonna do it, Twitter's the place for it.
Number 2.
Two-way star Travis Hunter, the number 2 pick in this year's NFL draft, has signed his 4-year, $46.65 million fully guaranteed rookie contract with the Jaguars. I don't know if you guys saw this. Jaguars posted 2 things. They said they signed a DB and they signed a wide receiver. So that was very cute.
Oh, yeah.
Very cute. Hunter is
they're nifty, those Jags.
Hunter is reportedly the first non-quarterback not drafted first overall to receive his entire $30.57 million signing bonus up front. So some of these guys receive it throughout the contract. He receives it up front. Tony, would you want your bonus all up front or spread it out over the life of the contract?
As long as I'm getting it, I'd rather them spread it out over the life of the contract.
I agree.
I mean, I want to protect myself from myself.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the only thing I'm thinking. I want to protect myself from myself.
Yeah.
Don't give me all of that loot up front. Spread it out. Hopefully, in that time frame, I will be wise to stack my chips up, underneath the house somewhere. And then, when it's all said and done, I can live off of that for a very, very, very long time. That's ideally.
Yeah.
I love the whole deferral thing now. I wish I would have been good enough to have money deferred like that.
Can you imagine, Tony, just like 15 years from now, you just wake up one day, you got $1 million in your account?
Man, that would be so lovely.
Chris, would you like your bonus all up front or spread out over the life of the contract?
I don't think it would matter what I want.
What does Lori want? What does your wife want?
As soon as they said you can have $37 million tomorrow, pretty sure my wife would say, "Give me that."
Give me that.
And I think, and I think her but
Lori is very good with
she's
money,
very
so
good.
you wouldn't have to worry about protecting yourself.
The thing is, Lori's very good. She would. I think she'd rather have the money now because she'd feel like she could invest it better than they could. So
I mean,
there's
that's
part
fair.
of that.
That's fair.
Yeah, if you're doing it right and you have the right business people, you want the money now because you want to put it away properly. As much.
I really
as you
hope
have.
Travis Hunter's recent marriage doesn't have anything to do with
stop
because this woman that he married, woman that he married,
you don't even know her. Stop it.
I don't. You're right, but I've seen videos.
But you were
of
getting ready
her.
to say this woman that he married is what? What are you about to say?
I am not going to say anything.
There you go. Good job.
This one doesn't really fit anywhere on the show, but it is so us, so I'm going to put it right here. Someone messaged me with a situation they wanted clarity on. They went to a sandwich shop and ordered a number 6, which is the meatball sub. So the person, I'm going to just tell you guys like they wrote it to me. So I said, "I'll have the number 6 with everything, please." That's when things got weird. Sandwich maker asked, "Do you want cheese?" I said, "Yes." "Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want it toasted? Do you want this? Do you want..." I kept my cool, but I was thinking, and Chris, you're up first. Do they really need to ask me twice when I said everything the first time I ordered?
That's it? That's the whole question?
Yeah,
That's
they're
the whole
very
concern you have?
Which I can kind of see their point. I said everything, so why are you asking me if I want everything on it?
You don't have to explain it. I got it. It was very simple to understand.
So they asked me if I needed cheese. I already said everything, Chris. Oh, okay.
No, I'm aware. I was saying, is that it? Like, that's it.
That's it. I mean, isn't this very us? This is a very us topic.
I'll just say this. When I'm standing in line at any sandwich shop, no matter which one it is, as I'm standing there, I already know what I want.
Oh, yeah.
But what I'm thinking about is how am I going to say my order out loud so that the Yahoo behind the counter...
Oh, no. Oh, wait. Hold on. Do not make fun of the sandwich
Some of them are Yahoos.
Let him finish, please.
Some of them are Yahoos. Some of them are not. But in case they're a Yahoo, I want them to be able to understand and get my order right. And I don't want them to have to ask me any more questions because I don't feel like
Did you want
chatting with
oregano
them.
on that?
Right. So I agree with this person. If I say meatball sub, everything on wheat, toasted, get me out of here. I don't want to talk to you anymore. So I'm in there with this guy.
All right, Tony, do they really need to ask him twice when he said everything when he ordered originally?
Okay, I will say this for every Chris Ello there is. That's, wants it pretty simple.
Thank you, Tony.
Boom,
yeah, right.
There's also the person in the line that says everything but.
And then they go on for half an hour. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't want that toasted.
1,000%. Like they literally say everything but. Well, then it's not everything. Just tell them the things you want, and don't tell them about the things you don't want, right? I want this sandwich with just bomb, 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 bomb.
I thought about this and I said I wanted to like point to the picture on the menu.
But you're
just
almost
like the picture.
In defense of the kid or person behind
the
you.
Yahoo.
Yeah, I don't think this one's a Yahoo. I think this person actually had a fair clue. Because I'm pretty sure that they had probably made a sandwich with everything earlier that day
and threw it out.
No, that the other person said, "Well, I didn't want cheese.
Right.
I didn't want it toasted. I didn't want the
1,000%.
sauce." So this person behind the counter was sticking up for themselves. So I can see this both ways.
They handled it much better than I did that one time when I said no Mike's way and they just scraped it off and I just left the restaurant because I was so upset. It's like I said no Mike's way, so the guy scrapes it off and I said, "Can I get a new sandwich?"
Customers like you are why people only make sandwiches for a short time.
I clearly said
and
no
then
Mike's
retire.
way, and then he just took his hand and scraped it off.
My guy just walked out of the store.
This was a different time in my life. I was very upset. It wasn't him, it was me, but that didn't help things on that certain day. All right, that's it. We're going to get you set for Nationals and Padres tonight at 6:40 p.m. Fernando Tatis Jr. bobblehead night. We'll be back shortly. I already said 97.3 The Fan, huh?
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center.
What are we doing, guys?
I'm going to see the museum for the first time ever. It's going to be sweet. See my dad's plaque. See where Trevor's plaque is going to be. It's going to be pretty dope.
Chris,
I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame for the second time because I went earlier today, but I'm going in to see Tony go into the Hall of Fame. So all the way straight and back left.
Straight back left.
Straight around that back wall.
This one?
Yeah.
How you feeling, Tony?
I don't know how I'm feeling right now, honestly.
Excited?
I'm definitely excited. Hello, Eric. How you doing? Pretty good.
Wow. Just like I told you, next to the famous Barney Dreyfus and Leslie Wilkinson, whoever they are.
That does look like them.
I know. It's a good shot. They don't do them all that great. That one's good. Really good.
I missed a year. 300. Must have been bad. Huh? I used to be. Not anymore, though.
Oh, it's so cool. What team did you play on?
I can give you a long list of them. Brewers, Padres, Dodgers, Phillies, Nationals.
What position did you play?
I played outfield. This was my dad. Oh, there's Dick Williams, Goose. I think he'd be pretty happy with his company over here. So.
What are you thinking to see it for the first time?
I'm thinking
I'm hot. I'm quite warm right now, but it's cool. I mean, it's what I thought it was going to be. I mean, who not too many people can say they have a dad that's enshrined in this place. So I think this is awesome.
What are we doing, guys?
I'm going to see the museum for the first time ever. It's going to be sweet. See my dad's plaque. See where Trevor's plaque is going to be. It's going to be pretty dope.
Chris,
I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame for the second time because I went earlier today, but I'm going in to see Tony go into the Hall of Fame. So all the way straight and back left.
Straight back left.
Straight around that back wall.
This one?
Yeah.
How you feeling, Tony?
I don't know how I'm feeling right now, honestly.
Excited?
I'm definitely excited. Hello, Eric. How you doing? Pretty good.
Wow. Just like I told you, next to the famous Barney Dreyfuss and Leslie Wilkinson, whoever they are.
That does look like them.
I know. It's a good shot. They don't do them all that great. That one's good. Really good.
I missed a year. 300. Must have been bad. Huh? I used to be. Not anymore, though.
Oh, it's so cool. What team did you play on?
I can give you a long list of them. Brewers, Padres, Dodgers, Phillies, Nationals.
What position did you play?
I played outfield. This was my dad. Oh, there's Dick Williams, Goose. I think he'd be pretty happy with his company over here. So.
What are you thinking of seeing it for the first time?
I'm thinking that
hot. I'm quite warm right now, but it's cool. I mean, it's what I thought it was going to be. I mean, who not too many people can say they have a dad that's enshrined in this place. So I think this is awesome.
What are we doing, guys?
I'm going to see the museum for the first time ever. It's going to be sweet. See my dad's plaque. See where Trevor's plaque is going to be. It's going to be pretty dope.
Chris,
I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame for the second time because I went earlier today, but I'm going in to see Tony go into the Hall of Fame. So all the way straight and back left.
Straight back left.
Straight on that back wall.
This one?
Yeah.
How you feeling, Tony?
So it is that we sail into the happy hour on Gwynn and Chris. A little past 5 o'clock.
We got a little carried away in the Big Five.
Well, that's what happens when you talk about your shiny forehead the whole time. Make sure you let everybody know about that.
Oh, that's the one thing I do. I call out the things that I'm embarrassed about, so that people can't call me out.
Well, yeah, they do anyway. We're in the happy hour. We're happy no matter what. It's brought to you by GL Pools, the swimming pool experts trusted by thousands of San Diegans since 2006. Almost 20 years worth. Baseball season is in full swing. So is swim season, called GL Pools. And mention the word radio, you'll get a free month of pool service. GL Pools, our friends. And we welcome you back. Like I said, happy hour indeed. Tony and Jesse have the call of the game tonight. And I'll be down at the ball game tonight. Scraby, you're not going down there tonight?
Can't do it tonight.
All right.
I'll try to go tomorrow or Wednesday.
Taking a little Major League Baseball tonight. Looking forward to that.
You're much better at going to the games than I am.
Why? What do you mean? In terms of going
to like weekday games, like because by the time I get done with everything here,
so you have.
I would be down there by like 7:15.
You work harder than I do. I also plan on not staying the whole game this time.
Oh yeah, because
made a mistake my last outing, and I sat in the tailgate parking lot forever. And I'm also never driving back to San Diego on a Sunday from Vegas. Well, yesterday was the last time for that. Man, it was bad.
If someone would have booked the right flights,
right, we wouldn't have had to do that. But it's still.
I'm hoping your wife is not listening.
I think she is. She just told me to call her in the car.
Oh
so
no.
Well done. That's up for debate. We don't know who it was, so we're just going with both of us messed up the plane reservations there. But
reservations.
Yes, we had a good time. You know me. We're at concert I saw Saturday night.
Barry Manilow,
and I'm telling you, I was prepared to come back with a report of, all right. He's lost the fastball for good. You know what I mean?
He hasn't lost.
He's 82 years old. not only he looks good, like he's in good shape, and he put on an hour and a half or so, maybe a little longer, and he didn't stop. He was back and forth. He had everybody up and cheering and screaming. And, like I said, if you don't like his songs, it doesn't matter what he does. But if you like his songs, he still puts on a hell of a show. I couldn't believe it. I was really surprised. I did not expect it. And the one funny thing my wife noticed, because we were down and closer to the front there, we're looking over our shoulder, and attached to the railing in the balcony was this big monitor facing the stage.
Okay.
That was there to remind Barry what to do, what to sing, what to say.
That's fine.
Some of the words. He never even used it, though.
Oh, okay.
Like we were on it, we were kind of laughing. We're like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Yeah, if you have to,
like he's not going to even be able to know what song it is.
He's like, what does that say?
Yeah. No, it was not like that. And I would tell you if it was. He really did I know a lot of people. He's playing in Las Vegas again, I think in September. And, if you have parents who love this guy or something, get them some tickets. They will really like it. It's kind of an unpaid for,
we gave away tickets
support,
to Barry Manilow.
But, he did a great show. All right. So we go here with the Padres and the Nats, hoping they'll put on a good show tonight. Game 1 of a 3-game series. Stephen Kolek. By the way, where would the Padres be without Stephen Kolek? And how about, our guy,
Randy Vasquez?
Not Vasquez.
Ryan
Bergert. Bergert. He's pitched
been good
well, too.
Yeah.
Cease and Pivetta are the two guys that are still kind of the stalwarts, but these other 3 guys give the Padres a chance to win every time out.
Yeah.
Problem is the offense is not there on any kind of consistent basis. We had a nice walk-off win yesterday, thanks to Iglesias coming through. Offensively, I think it's just, Bogarts has been doing his thing lately, but we have got to pick up another bat, Scraby.
Yes.
It's just going to be imperative.
Yes.
And they might need to pick up another arm.
Yes.
Because I don't know when, Michael King's coming back. I'm going to say when. I can't go with if yet. I can't believe that Michael King is going to sleep wrong, mess up a nerve, and never come back again. Like, I just don't want to believe that. But I guess it's a possibility. And where's Darvish? We keep hearing about it. Yeah, he's throwing a game. He
threw 40
he's doing
pitches.
That. He's feeling better. He's like, oh, come
Simulated
on.
games.
Get him in there. Let's go.
I know.
Padres are 5 games out of first place right now. They're a game and a half behind the Gigantes for second. They're also a game behind the Brewers for a playoff spot, or half game for a playoff spot. Padres would not be in the playoffs if they started today. That gets me a little nervous.
That does.
That always gives me a little edgy feeling.
Yeah, but I'd rather them, like, this is going to sound crazy, but I'd rather them be like fighting for a playoff spot than having one and just being like, oh, we got one.
What I like is the fact that this is started in 2020. That was the shorter season,
yes.
But starting this is the 6th year in a row. They've been in the running, relevant, playing games that matter.
Yep.
I know this doesn't sound like a lot, but I feel like as a fan, that's what you can demand to a certain extent. Like, I just want my team to be relevant.
This is who they are now.
And you don't have to always win but you have to win sometimes, but you always want to be relevant. Speaking of relevance, just a quick thing, and then I'll move back to, we got a Scraby segment coming up to close out the show. Scraby's and we got some sound to hear from Mike Schilt. So let me get to that in the next segment. But
okay,
I saw this story today and I kind of had a chuckle.
A chuckle.
I had a chuckle.
A little chortle?
A little chortle. Evidently, I did not know this. The Colorado Rockies owner is
Dick Monfort.
Dick. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
Monfort.
Yeah. He's the older brother of 2. Now, when the Rockies were successful, and they had a time when they had some fun teams, a lot of good
World Series
seasons. Right. It was Dick's brother, Charlie, younger brother, Charlie, who did most of the stuff. He was kind of the guy. I did not know whatever happened to Charlie till I found out today. Charlie Monfort has been, for lack of a better term, in the bottle for like all these years.
Oh, he's drinking.
He's been down and out drinking.
Oh, that's not. I did not expect that.
I didn't either. Anyway, he apparently, according to a story in the Denver Post today, Charlie is back. The sobriety, he's good. He's taken back.
Okay.
He's ready to return to helping with the Rockies.
All right. I cheer for a guy like that.
Yeah, and he said he cries every day when he watches them play now.
So he cares.
He can't believe it. And he says, that he's going to start trying to make some calls and decisions and working closer with his brother to try to get them back. So interesting,
that is
development.
That is interesting
with the Rockies.
I wonder if Dick's like,
because Dick is
go away.
Dick is an idiot. But Charlie, when he was the guy, the Rockies were okay. And I didn't know that Charlie was, and evidently, like, they had a falling out, the brothers, the whole thing, the drinking, the team, everything, everything went away. Now they're back speaking, and so
good. I'm glad to hear that he's on the straight and narrow.
He's on the mend.
That's good.
All right, we'll hear from Mike Schilt. Luis Ariz is batting cleanup again tonight. Why is that? What does Schilt think? Fernando Tatis Jr. has some thoughts on the big trade with the Nationals that pretty much gave the Nationals their starting lineup tonight. And we'll also hear from C.J. Abrams about his return to San Diego with a Scraby segment after traffic. Chris, hello. Yeah, we're here in Cooperstown for 97.3 The Fan. So excited, the induction weekend for the great Trevor Hoffman. What a class he's going in with, too. Let's take a look. Of course, Alan Trammell from Kearney High School in San Diego. And then, of course, the Detroit Tigers, great shortstop. Jack Morris in a Tiger uniform there, but I always remember him pitching that 1-0 shutout in Game 7 of the 1991 World Series for the Minnesota Twins. Maybe the greatest postseason pitching performance of all time. Chipper Jones, Padre fans remember him. Every fan of a National League team remembers him because he would come in and do damage to that team. Only the second number 1 overall pick in the Major League Draft, Chipper Jones, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. The other is Ken Griffey Jr. Vladimir Guerrero, never met a pitch he couldn't swing at, and powerhouse hitter for the Expos, and then, of course, the Angels at the end of his career. Jim Thome, over 600 home runs, mostly with the Cleveland Indians. And then, the guy down here on the end who used to get all these guys out all the time, Trevor Hoffman, the greatest Padre reliever of them all. Two of the greatest outfielders in the history of baseball. Of course, you've got Babe Ruth right here. Ted Williams right over there. I was wondering who the third outfielder would be. And then, of course, it hit me. Tony would be upset if I didn't say that the third outfielder, who will someday probably be displayed right here between these two guys, is obviously Mike Trout. And this is the San Diego Padres locker room here in Cooperstown. Obviously, a couple of jerseys there and hats, gloves, all-star stuff. I think the most interesting thing in this entire display, though, especially this weekend, is a picture in the top corner of Angus Young. He's the guitarist for AC/DC, wearing a Trevor Hoffman uniform obviously playing Hell's Bells. I know that Trevor went to many AC/DC concerts and was honored by sitting in the front row to watch AC/DC play Hell's Bells in his honor. But there's a picture of Angus Young playing Hell's Bells for Trevor Hoffman wearing the 51 jersey right there. Crisello, yeah, we're here in Cooperstown for 97.3 The Fan. So excited, the induction weekend for the great Trevor Hoffman. What a class he's going in with, too. Let's take a look. Of course, Alan Trammell from Kearney High School in San Diego. And then, of course, the Detroit Tigers, great shortstop. Jack Morris in a Tiger uniform there, but I always remember him pitching that 1-0 shutout in Game 7 of the 1991 World Series for the Minnesota Twins. Maybe the greatest postseason pitching performance of all time. Chipper Jones, Padre fans remember him. Every fan of a National League team remembers him because he would come in and do damage to that team. Only the second #1 overall pick in the Major League Draft, Chipper Jones, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. The other is Ken Griffey Jr. Vladimir Guerrero, never met a pitch he couldn't swing at, and powerhouse hitter for the Expos, and then, of course, the Angels at the end of his career. Jim Thome, over 600 home runs, mostly with the Cleveland Indians. And then, oh, yeah, the guy down here on the end who used to get all these guys out all the time, Trevor Hoffman, the greatest Padre reliever of them all. Two of the greatest outfielders in the history of baseball. Of course, you've got Babe Ruth right here. Ted Williams right over there. I was wondering who the third outfielder would be. And then, of course, it hit me. Tony would be upset if I didn't say that the third outfielder, who will someday probably be displayed right here between these two guys, is obviously Mike Trout. Check Monday night, some baseball, not a full schedule, but a bunch of games. Orioles 5-0 over the Rangers. Whatever happened to Bochy, man? His club's not been great this year.
No,
the Orioles
won the
have been
World
worse,
Series,
but
and
Texas is under 500. Atlanta, Acuna's homered. Mets are struggling. 3-0 Braves in the 5th. Reds over the Yankees 2-1 in the 4th. Judge is homered for New York. Arizona 5-0 on the White Sox. Pittsburgh 1-0 over Milwaukee. Cubs, Cardinals, first meeting of the year, scoreless in the 4th. Does anybody really need a Mariners Twins score?
I just saw that the Mariners scored.
Okay, well, then you have a score, 1-0.
Ty France made an unfortunate play at first.
The former Mariner, now a Twin.
Yes, now a Twinkie, as you would say.
A Twinkie. Padres are ready to roll against the Nats at 6:40. Scraby's going to take things over now as he will navigate the rest of the show in the Scraby segment.
Yes, that's right.
Since there's no Chronicles tonight.
No, we don't have Chronicles for quite Thursday would be a Chronicles,
Thursday would be
but
a
after
Chronicle
that,
day.
not many Chronicles.
Thursday's a Chronicle day.
And then, the All-Star break is going to be here before we know it, Chris. It's like 2 weeks away.
Like I said, Saturday is the actual midway
That's true.
point. Game 81 is Saturday.
So we can really have an opinion then.
Doesn't it seem like we're so far away, so far past the halfway mark? We're not even the halfway yet.
I don't know why this season feels like there's been 3 seasons within the first
It's taken
half.
forever.
It has.
Yeah, Dodgers, Tigers, a couple of other teams have played 79 games, but nobody is at the halfway mark yet.
All right, well, let's start with this. Luis Ariz has moved from the 2 spot to the cleanup spot, and, Rafael Devers is a guy who wouldn't move somewhere. There's other guys who won't move around. Juan Soto won't move around in the lineup, and he just made an incredibly bad play in the outfield, and he gave Austin Riley a triple.
He, his base running last week on a fly ball that Acuna caught.
Yeah, he didn't see that Acuna caught it.
He didn't know to run to second, to first.
He was
threw
lost.
His arms up in the air. Somebody tweeted out, like, what an incredibly low IQ baseball play. The thing is, you're being a little harsh there.
Yeah, that's a little harsh. Because Acuna made a great catch.
He did, but Juan Soto should just be better than this. He just should, and he just isn't. His talent is undeniable. You're right? To hit a baseball.
Yeah.
This guy can do it as well as anyone we've seen. But there are a lot of other things that go along with baseball. And Juan Soto doesn't do a whole lot of those things well.
And I think that he's kind of a victim of everybody saying he's really, really great at defense because it's not like that.
He's really not. No.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was bringing that up because Luis Ariz, what did he think when Mike Schilt came to him and asked him to move to the cleanup spot? He talked to the media about it.
All right.
No, if it's something for how the team win, I'll be there. Batting 4, batting 9, batting 6, whatever spot I have there, I just need opportunity to go there and do something for the team. I'll go there and do it.
You've been primarily lead off the most of your career. Was it just an easy decision, just seamless transition?
Yeah, for me everything's easy, especially when we have a really good communication, especially with a great manager. We have a very good communication, so I say yes, put me there, and then let's see what happens.
All right, so Luis Ariz, that's exactly what I expected from him.
Me too,
because that's the type of guy he is, and I love
Club is 1-0 with him in the cleanup spot.
Yes,
so it's a good start.
I love that he said that they have great communication. That tells me a lot about how Mike Schilt runs the clubhouse.
Agreed.
Yeah, because communication's everything. If you just come up to Luis Ariz one day and you're like, "Hey, you're batting 7th."
Well, if you just write his name in there, you don't even tell him.
True.
Just write it in.
That's another good point.
There's 2 former Padres around baseball that are batting cleanup tonight. Care to try? 2 former Padres are batting cleanup in their games tonight. It's not easy.
Is James Wood one of them?
James Wood's not. He's batting second tonight for the Nationals.
Is CJ Abrams one of them?
No, he's batting first.
I don't know.
This is pretty tough.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh Naylor. He's batting cleanup for the Diamondbacks tonight. And the great Sanchino, Gary Sanchez,
wow,
is batting cleanup for the Orioles tonight. But the cleanup spot, Tony and I discussed it earlier, is just a different breed than it used to be.
Yeah.
You used to have to hit like 30 home runs to bat cleanup.
Yep.
Now you can be Luis Ariz and bat cleanup.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It is okay.
So we'll see if it keeps working for the Pods. I think they're not. Desperate's too strong, but they're tinkering because they know it's not working.
Exactly, and that's what I like to see at this point in the year. It's small changes, but it's changes.
Yeah, it's not working right now. They need better.
I know we got 1 game under our belt with Jackson Merrill back, but Jackson looked like he was seeing the ball well yesterday.
Again, we talked about it. He hit the ball in a heart. He hit a home run that got pulled back. He had a double, and he also saved the game.
Yeah,
that's all. I mean, he got to that ball so fast in right center field, whirled, threw a strike to Iglesias. That kept the go-ahead run from scoring.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great play that people probably don't realize just how great it was.
I mean, we've been at spring training, and I've watched those guys just do drill after drill after drill.
Well, you can do all the drills you want, but in the game, you still have to pull it off.
And but what I'm saying is they work at it.
Yeah.
Real hard.
No, it was well done.
But
so do other teams. Let's not make it seem like we're the only team that practices cutoffs.
No, the Padres are the only team that practice.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Speaking of Jackson Merrill is really good friends with James Wood. And so yesterday, actually, they asked him when he got, because he was back and they reinstated him, they asked him about facing James Wood and what it's like.
What is that like when you get to see him, and what have you thought of his success?
Yeah, man. I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. Kid's a beast. He's been a beast since he was 13. You know, it doesn't surprise me at all. Was it 21 homers? He won last night? Yeah, man. Like, every day he comes to the field ready to play. You know, everybody's always like, oh, he's moving so slow. He's moving as fast as he can. He's moving fast, too. So, you know, we got to be ready for him. He's going to come here and play his ass off. You know, obviously, he didn't get to play here when he debuted, so, you know, it'd be good for him to come back and play against him.
I think that's really kind of cool that they grew up together. I also saw
They're
a
both
picture.
from Maryland.
They grew up in the same area. They
Yeah,
were
Rockville, Maryland.
played
James
together.
Wood. Yeah. James Wood, by the way, isn't slow. He's got 9 stolen bases. So he's not a truck out there. He's also got a 934 OPS.
Yes, he does.
And we know it. Yes, the Padres could use him in left field. But Tony was correct, and we didn't get paid to say it. But hope you enjoyed the 2022 run to the NL Championship. Hope you enjoyed the playoffs last year. Those things may not have happened had James Wood not been traded. That's it. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
So don't put it in a vacuum. In a vacuum, would we like to have this James Wood on this team right now? Yes.
Of course.
But that's not how this all works.
You just heard Jackson say some people think he's going too slow, meaning progressing through the minor leagues too slow. I mean, that's what the Padres would have had to do. They would have had to wait for him to come to this point.
It would have taken time.
It would have taken time. It would have taken 3 years.
Okay. No, I'm just agreeing with you.
No, I know. I'm
trying to move you along because you only have a few minutes left to, finish up your segment.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big deal.
Let's hear from, I just opened up Microsoft Word on accident. Let's hear from J.J. Abrams because J.J. Abrams.
Lost, man. One of my favorite shows.
He's a director.
Lost is a great show. Are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking. What was that? What was the character's name? The thing that was out in the wilderness.
Oh, the smoke monster.
The smoke monster.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the smoke
unfortunately,
monster.
when I change one letter in the name, it changes everything about that
Change the
person.
complete meaning of this. Yes.
But C.J. Abrams was talking about how he's grown since he left San Diego.
I hope so.
Well, CJ, it's been a few years
Sammy
since the
left.
trade, but you're back in San Diego once again. How's it feel to be back?
Yeah, it feels good. Be here with the squad, trying to get another win.
Is there any weirdness playing the team that drafted you, or does it wear off after a while?
It kind of wears off. Coming back to San Diego is not a bad place to play. But it's electric. We're gonna go out there, like I said, get a win.
Since that trade, what have you learned, and how have you grown as a player?
Yeah, I've learned a lot, in all aspects of my game, and just continue to get better each and every day, stay where my feet are, and, do my thing.
All right, there's CJ Abrams here. I just want to tell you from Sam Levitt, because he's the one who got all this audio today. I got a text message from Sam just a little bit ago saying that I need to tell everyone he has a jam-packed pregame show, and they won't want to miss it. That is a quote.
They would
from my
never
text
want to
message.
miss Sammy Levitt. I don't want to hijack any of your
your
segment, but I have something really good to finish with.
That's fine. Let's go with that.
So I'm going to finish with
This better
this
be
today.
good, though.
It is.
Is it better than me making fun of Dave Roberts?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not going to make you happy. First of all, this part isn't neither here nor there, but it's newsworthy to know. If you may remember Fernando Tatis Jr. Borrowed money or got money ahead of his contract money.
Yes.
From a big, I don't know, company, what you call it, big league advance, it was called. So they gave him money before he signed his big money contract.
Yes.
And he is now suing them because he's saying in a complaint filed in Superior Court today that BLA, Big League Advance, is accountable for, quote, exploitative, predatory business practices, shamelessly pushing illegal loans on young, vulnerable athletes, most from economically disadvantaged Latin America countries. We'll see where this goes.
He's not wrong. At
Probably
face
not.
value, when I heard about this whole thing, I was like, how did they even do that? Because they're basically investing the player's giving them money. They're giving them a loan, and the player has to pay it back over the time of
but
the
they
contract.
have to pay it back at a ridiculous rate.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
This is what this is about. But this is not where I wanted to go.
Okay.
Do you remember when Fernando Tatis Jr. in September of 2021 hit a ball 467 feet out of Dodger Stadium?
Oh, yes, I do.
You know what happened?
Someone defaced it.
They took his plaque down.
Because someone defaced it.
It's no longer there.
And they're going to put a new one up, they say.
Oh, okay. Well, then you may not be as angry as I thought you were.
Yeah, no.
I had thought that reading the headline, it said Dodgers take down Fernando's plaque. I'm like, what?
No. It was
just because they had one little thing last week where they hit him like 19 times. They're now taking his plaque down.
No, it's not about that at all, Chris.
Okay. It's been damaged. It will be replaced.
Some stupid Dodger
Fair
fan defaced it, and they
Fair
had to take it down. This hour in 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Staples. But that story with Fernando is just a new one, actually. Kevin Acey just posted about it. So if you want to, go to San Diego Union Tribune and find out more about that.
What's that? The plaque or the lawsuit?
The lawsuit.
Yeah.
That interests me a little bit, and I think that Fernando... I don't know what his intentions are, but I think he's protecting other players.
He's
out
trying.
There.
It'll be interesting to see how much, they say it was his fault for, not figuring this out ahead of time.
Correct.
How much of the blame lies with him? Or how much did the company maybe mislead him? This is what will be discussed.
And this is maybe why, there's stuff that we just don't know about that's happening off the field.
No.
All the time.
But I think this is not a bad thing to bring to light. I hope it works out and helps Fernando and or people down the road.
Exactly.
Because it does seem like these companies are kind of there to try and prey on the unsuspecting.
Yeah, here's some. I know you're really poor. Your family needs money. Here's some money, but you're gonna have to sign a contract that means you pay us back with interest later on in life. Lots of interest.
All right. Padres National Sam Levitt's pregame show is so good.
Jam-packed.
We got to get out of here. And we'll see you tomorrow, 2:00. Tony, Scraby, Chris. Happy Monday night.